Gilman. You may know him as an actor who starred in Wes Anderson's movie Moonrise Kingdom, Jim Jarmusch's film Paterson, and he's about to be. Oh well, yeah. No, you started it. You started it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm actually Adam Driver. Yes, yeah. I can talk about Star Wars now.
Yes, and he is going to share with us his poems today, and he is going to be in a new movie that I think got delayed because of COVID. Did it? No, you were playing the son of an actor, right? You were telling me about this like a year ago.
Lapham Rising.
I think so.
Yeah, I filmed it. I work at. It's shot.
Yeah, it just hasn't released yet.
I don't know where it's at right now.
Yeah,
I just know that I worked on it. I had a really good time. It was like a, I worked. I was in I was like an hour. I was an hour away from Minneapolis, in this like middle of nowhere town in Minnesota, and I was only there for 2 weeks, and then out of the 2 weeks, I was on set for maybe like 5 or 6 days. So I did have like a good amount of days off where I was just like hanging out in the hotel like by myself. I mean, it was fun.
The actor's life.
Yeah. Yeah. They had like the hotel had like a little mini water park, sort of like a water slide. Rode that like 5 times one day. They had a little arcade. Nice. I played myself on air hockey. Air hockey.
And you were the son of. So you're playing the son of what?
So then I played Bobby Cannavale's son.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and so Frank Langella is the lead in it, and
good actor.
I just have like a few scenes, pretty much.
I mean,
and
a few scenes.
I still got to like work with him for a couple of days or a few days at least, and yeah, he was cool. He was I didn't really ask too many questions or anything like that. I'm not like that as a person when I'm working with other people, but like I enjoyed working with him for sure. I was working with Bobby. And this was before I realized that he was in The Irishman too. So I would have totally said something about that, but that was because this is like May 2019, and that didn't come out until like October.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean that's the case with a lot of movies. Like when you act in them, or when you're crew or whatever, you'll work on them, and then you won't hear anything about them for a couple of years, and then it's like they come out.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Oh, that movie's out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see what happens with it for sure. Hopefully something.
That's what you always hope. Sometimes they can get lost in the editing, and sometimes it's like they get edited, because it shouldn't really, for most movies, it shouldn't really take more than a couple months to like at least get a good cut done. Oki said what? What? Oh my God! I had to cut that out. He's gonna get.
Oh yes. Oh
he's gonna get
about that. You deleted part 2 of the Jacob Bull video. Is that what happened?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Oki was telling us how he's never gonna do anything else Jacob Bull related.
I dare not repeat what I said. Yeah.
Wait, actually, when is part 2 coming out?
I have no idea. To be completely honest with you, maybe a month.
All right. No, like I mean, obviously, I'm not saying it needs. I mean, I'm just curious. Like, I enjoyed that video, dude. I watched it today.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks.
You know how long it took him to make the first one?
Probably a while, right?
5 months.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he was, and that's all he talked about for 5 months in our Discord server.
Yeah.
Here's the new Jacob Bull stuff I found.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, today we are talking about the postmodern pastiche comedy parody animated film Rango, which is a tribute and homage to Westerns, basically just about every Western. If you watch it from the eyes of a person who grew up watching John Ford movies and Sergio Leone movies and everything like that, I mean, you see so many of these like little bits in it, and it's basically a love letter to the entire genre, starring Johnny Depp, Isla Fisher. I mean, gosh, it has a ton of actors. Harry Dean Stanton is in it. Bill Nighy. I'm missing a lot, but it's a star-studded cast.
Ray Winstone at one point.
Ray Winstone.
Here, I have the IMDb page open. I can just rattle
Abigail Breslin.
Johnny Depp, Abigail Breslin, Ned Beatty, Alfred Molina, Bill Nighy, Stephen Root, Harry Dean Stanton, Timothy Olyphant, Ray Winstone.
Just a stacked cast.
Yeah, super stacked. And I love Stephen Root. He was Milton in Office Space.
Oh yeah. He shows up in a lot. He was in The Empty Man. I don't know if you saw that.
And he was in Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Oh yeah.
The bank teller. And he was, although one of my favorite roles of him is in the movie Idiocracy, where he's the judge. And he says, "We are not commensurating this meeting up in here." And he's the judge, and it's like the most stupid judge of all time. No, just the trial scene is just absolutely amazing. Having Fox News reporting on it too, with a guy with like this huge swole guy, right? And then like this lady with like big boobs. And that's Fox News. He's just, I mean, it's pretty realistic.
The only thing I remember about that movie was that Terry Crews played the president.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's like the one thing I do know about that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but that's like the one of the jokes that I know.
He's hilarious. Terry Crews is hilarious. But getting back to Rango, so I know this was one of your first like April 1st watches. So actually for Oki and Jared, this is a pretty recent watch, because I think Oki you watched
I just watched it today. That was the first.
Yeah, Oki just watched it for the first time today.
Yeah.
So you have the freshest view of the three of us.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
What did you say? You said you watched it 2 weeks ago. You said.
Let me see. I watched it on April 15th. So
there you go.
2.5 weeks ago. Yeah.
I rewatched it today. I've seen it several times. My older brother, he has autism, and he loves those animated films. So I watch, when I'm with him, when I'm like watching him, I watch Rango, Shrek, all those movies just all the time. So it's just one of those movies that's kind of always on. Yeah. But but a lot of times I just kind of have it on because he's watching it. I don't pay too much attention, but today I sat down and I was paying a lot of attention, trying to kind of sort things out. So we'll start from the beginning. And I think that Rango is actually a good choice for the talk today, because at its essence, it is about acting.
Playing a role, embodying in a way, for sure. Yeah, and an opening scene, it's like you can look at it that way for sure. Yeah. Figuring out his role and all that. Yeah.
And he's playing all these different. I need to shut up my phone. He's playing all these different roles in the beginning, and obviously there's just like this confidence to it. But what I thought was very interesting with how it like approached acting as an art, in a sense, is that as the film progresses, his character bleeds into his real self. He kind of more and more embodies the character. Yeah. It's a very introspective movie in that sense, where it's kind of about becoming the character that you're playing. And I think that just in a lot of modern day life, we play characters for people. We play characters and for everybody else. And at some point, if you play a character enough, you can start to embody that character. Yeah. So Jared, I'm going to put you on the hot seat right here. When you were in Paterson, did being in Paterson make you an anarchist?
Of all the things that would have driven me to anarchy in the last, I don't know, 5 or so years, I mean, that, maybe that was like the catalyst. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if I would. I mean,
it's okay. You don't have to answer. I mean, it was gonna shitpost question.
Yeah, I mean, right?
I really thought you were gonna ask him, did you watch Sallow?
I need to ask that.
I haven't seen Sallow yet.
Yeah,
it'll happen. It'll happen.
You got it. Okay.
It'll happen.
All right.
It'll happen when it happens.
An easier Pasolini film, if you want to get into his work, is definitely Teorema.
Okay.
Yeah. It's very...
I don't know. Maybe I want to just totally dive into the deep end of them. What if I just did it,
Sallow.
Just, it's one of those things where I'd need to just like pick the right day where both my parents are out of the house.
Uh-huh.
I have the TV and myself, and there's no chance in hell they're gonna walk in.
Or it could be like a power move.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, it's just
No, it's never. It never feels like a power move at all, dude. It never feels that.
It's just awkward.
It always just feels awkward. It always just feels awkward. It draws. It takes me out of the movie. It takes me out of the experience. Sometimes it'll happen during the best scene in the movie or a really awesome moment. Straight up, when I was watching The Empty Man, it was like have you seen it yet?
Which one?
What was that?
It's like a horror movie that like.
You just got
dumped.
Oh yeah, you just cut out a little bit.
Just say one more time.
The Empty Man.
Oh no, I don't
have a dumb title, but it's actually it's a solid, surprisingly lengthy horror movie. It's like over 2 hours, but it only because there's like a 20-ish minute prologue sequence. So it's like a 20-ish minute prologue and then like a standard 2-hour movie. Sorta.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. It was like it was sort of like a major movie that just kind of got dumped in 2020. And,
plenty of those.
Yeah, it was one of those, and it's not bad. There's a lot of effective moments, but what I was trying to get at is that some of the best sequences in the movie happen when like either my dogs would start barking or my dad would walk in with saying something, and I'm like, I don't know, like things like that happen to me, and whenever I go to the living room and watch something. Not always, but
isn't it also good too when you watch a movie and it has like one sex scene in it? And that's when everyone walks in.
The Shining, the woman in the bathtub.
Yeah.
My dad walked in during that scene the first time I was watching that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very well versed in single nudity scene, parent walk-in experiences.
Yeah,
you should be like, Dad, it's a classic. It's a Shining. Like,
I mean, yeah, but like, it's like of all the scenes in a 2.5 hour long movie to walk in on, granted there are a few of those that like are, I guess I guess when it comes to the nudity, that's kind of the shot of the dude in the fur suit.
Yeah. Yeah,
those are the few
yiffing
moments.
The yiffing
maybe a parent walking in and just
yeah.
My TV,
then again,
downstairs, and like whenever I'm watching a movie and a sex scene comes on and like the moaning starts, like I really feel the need to be like, it's not porn. It's not porn. Like, just to make sure that my parents know that.
I had to watch I watched a movie that was kind of like a take on like giallo style films, and there's a lot of sex stuff.
There will be Italian movies. They have a lot of it.
It was just like not even a lot of nudity, but it was just like enough sort of like imagery that like if my mom walked in, I don't know, it was just like it
should be awkward.
A little awkward. Even though she knows me enough that like she knows that like she sees me watching something on my laptop. She knows it's like a movie.
Yeah.
She knows me enough to know that, but like
you're not gonna do it out in the open at least if it's
but like it's still just like the sort of like the what's the word? Not stereotype. but the I don't know. Not standard. The word is escaping me right now, but whatever.
Yeah. No, it's fine. My mom, when after I released, so right now I still work at the family clinic. That's going to be changing within the next week. I'm moving. But when right after I released my salad video, so I was at work and my mom was there and she was like, so, did you make a video on like a porno?
Nice.
I was like, no, Mom, it's not porn. It's actually like kind of, it's like very anti-erotic, like, but it shows, I'm like, but it's showing sex, but it's very and I'm like trying to do all this like mental gymnastics. And she's just like, that kind of sounds like a porno though. And I'm like, Mom, don't worry. There's not a lot of it in the movie. It's just kind of gross. And she goes, oh, okay.
Man, whenever, like, you guys seen We Need to Talk About Kevin, right?
Not yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
There's this one
Miller years and years ago. But
there's this one scene in it where the mom opens his room and he's jacking off, and she watches him and he continues to do it while staring at her until she closes the door. Like, that's just like you guys talking about how much you want to like placate your parents and be like, no, it's all right. But then you think about it, compare it to something like that scene. It's just like.
But then doesn't that character become a school shooter?
Well, exactly. I don't know why that.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that came to mind. Yeah.
That was by the same lady who made You Were Never Really Here.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah.
We've been talking about literally every single movie other than Rango.
Rango's a great movie though. It's like very visually, it
is,
and it's the animation holds up still. It's a 10-year-old movie, and it looks like it's at least maybe 2 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pre-pandemic movie for sure.
But like. And then too, there aren't many sort of the usual like kids movie trappings that kind of can happen. With,
there's death.
Nickelodeon distributed.
Yeah, movie. That surprised me.
Like, there aren't like any. There isn't any of that like pop song moments or like. Thing. There might be like flashbacks to things you've seen before. Mm-hmm. Which I feel like is kind of standard for kids' movies to happen.
But they only do that in one scene.
It's that's why I'm saying I'm guessing because it's been long enough that I there might not be, and I'm totally grasping at a straw.
No, there's
the dream sequence was great because it's like reincorporating imagery that's already been established in the movie. Mm-hmm. It like works really well, and that was actually the funny thing is that was actually the sort of my introduction to the movie because it was a movie that just sort of. I never got around to watching when it was in theaters. I had heard good things about it, and I just, for whatever reason, just never got around to it. And then one of the classes that I'm taking right now, oddly enough, the non-film class that I'm in, it's a class all about sleeping. We happen to watch the clip when he has the dream sequence.
Oh yeah.
In the middle, the first 20 or so minutes. And just watching that and being like, oh wait, this does not look like a normal kids movie at all.
Yeah.
Not even realizing that everything that I was seeing were references to images previously established in the opening scenes. I was just like, what is whoa, okay.
It is a pretty kind of trippy movie.
Yeah.
Especially like the first quarter of it.
It has a sort of there's definitely some moments in it that almost kind of remind me of like. It feels almost like something out of like a Buñuel film. Like you can see where it was influenced by Buñuel. And also in the very beginning when he falls out of the thing.
Ends on the Fear and Loathing.
Yeah, it goes on the Fear and Loathing car, yeah.
And he's looking at Johnny Depp. That was a great moment. And I was that totally like that when that moment happened, I was like, oh wait, I take that back. It was like I'd kind of realized that with the opening scene, that it was like kind of going to be one of those like a couple cuts above like the rest sort of quality in terms of like kids animated movies. And then the Fear and Loathing reference was like that kind of sealed it. That was okay, I'm on board with this.
That it had a lot of stuff for adults. And it also Apocalypse Now reference when they're all coming on the bats.
The Flight of the Valkyries.
Yeah, and actually that scene was hilarious, dude. When it cuts to the blue Danube, and he's like swinging like in slow motion, it has the blue Danube. I thought that was hilarious.
And no, a lot of the comedy, again, for a kid's, like not even just for kids, generally for a movie, a lot of the comedy worked pretty well. Like,
yeah, it felt like there was barely any of the comedic moments specifically for children. Even it was way more. Yeah,
it was way more.
There's like slapstick. There's sort of slapstick. Funny things happen. You know, he shoots a bullet and goes a million directions. Like, you know, that kind of thing. But no, like, you know, nothing like super juvenile or
not a single fart joke.
No.
Was
there an outhouse joke?
No, but see, plenty of adult movies, i.e. The Lighthouse, have fart jokes in it. So, you know, fart jokes so the fart jokes are actually now Kino.
They are Kino and also Universal. Anybody.
Robert Eggers made fart jokes Kino. So
what about Bergman? Bergman has them. Too, though. Benny and Alexander. There's like a whole bit where they're running around during the party and they're all just
he takes the candle and he like puts it at his butt. And
I mean, it happens. You know, it has its it's a
normal bodily function.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite stories, not really about fart jokes, but I mean it's similar, is have you seen Wim Wenders' Kings of the Road?
Not yet.
So there's a scene in there where Rudiger Vogler, who was in like a lot of Wenders films, he gets out of his truck and he goes, and the scene was he was supposed to just take a piss on the side of the road, right? And so he goes there, they have the camera there, and he actually pees. This was a very like low budget shoot. So he does it, and Wenders goes, all right, we're moving on. And the AC says to him, he says, hey, Mr. Wenders, that was actually out of focus. And so Wenders is like, what? And he's like, Rudiger, do you have anything left in you? He's like, no, I have nothing left in me. And so he's like, and he goes, you're like, how are you supposed to shoot the scene? Then he starts going off. I mean, you can just imagine an angry German, right? And so Rudiger goes to him, he goes, so then what should I do? He goes, take a shit for all I care. So they do like a second scene and they have the camera rolling and he goes there and on the ground takes a shit. And they film the entire thing. And he says, all of us were in awe. He was like, I said it as a joke. I was mad. And he says, and then he does it. And then he does it. So then what happened is, so he had this scene right in the cut and he was cutting the film. It's a 3-hour-long movie, but it's a really great film. So anyways, he had it in the cut as like this filler scene because he was like, oh, we're going to go back and reshoot that, you know, because now like he got some money during post-production. We're going to go back and reshoot it. He forgot that he had the scene in there. So he submitted the film to the Cannes Film Festival and forgot that scene was in there. So he's sitting in there and it just goes there and everyone on the big screen.
How far into the movie does the scene happen? Do you know?
It's been about a year since I've seen it the last.
But is it like midway through or is it like towards the end?
No, I want to say it's like 30 minutes in.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's like 30 minutes in. And so they're all sitting there. He's like, and then he said, like, I realized that I left the scene and I was meaning to take it out. But he goes, but once it showed and everyone saw it, then I had to defend it. So he was like, well, what are you all like worried about? It's a normal bodily function. Like you all take shits every day.
There's nothing obscene about it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite stories from Wenders, but
I was thinking that makes me want to watch the movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
What did you say it was called?
Kings of the Road.
Kings of the Road.
I think it's on Criterion Channel.
And the whole movement's included.
Yeah, the whole movement is included. It's very documentary like, you know.
It's in black and white.
Yeah, it's in black and white.
I guess that kind of helps a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And no one talks about that movie in terms of that. But in Sallow, everyone's like, "Oh, it's the poop movie," even though it's chocolate and orange marmalade. It's, of course, spoiler. Yeah, I made it
for the VFX of Sallow.
Yeah, I made it. I could, it's actually pretty easy to make, and if I'm gonna be honest, it tastes pretty good. Like, it's not bad. It's not bad. I ate it, and I was like, "Huh, this." I mean,
what do you say? Would you say that like the sort of the temporal distance between now and that when that movie came out has sort of softened the edge, or is it still very like you watch it? Whoa.
I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't say it because it's a movie that takes place like outside of time. It's a very sort of mythical film in how everything is shot and stuff. So you have like the opening, I would say the opening 20 minutes, like, that it's like fascist Italy, the Sallow Republic. But then after that, it sort of takes place in its own like controlled world. So there really isn't that. It takes place all the worst.
Like,
yeah.
So it's still, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I gotta figure out when I'll watch it.
This is the purpose of my channel.
Make sure your parents aren't there, right?
Yeah, when your parents aren't there, that's when you watch it.
Yeah, because I don't know. It's like I will watch movies on my laptop. I just can't, I just feel like there's some movies that are, I'll watch on my laptop there, and then there's some movies I'll watch on my TV.
Yeah, same here. And I prefer watching movies.
Sometimes it's, sometimes I'm a bit like whatever. I don't, sometimes I'm whatever. Sometimes I do think maybe I should watch it on the TV. I guess maybe if it's something I haven't seen before.
I'm like that. I tend to watch stuff like videos on the laptop, but I like to watch movies, especially. I
take that back. I'll watch new stuff on my laptop too. It really depends if it's like something that maybe is more funny or genre-y, and maybe I'd watch something more dramatic or epic or something like that on my TV.
I just got that Wong Kar-wai box set by Criterion, the Blu-ray.
And is that the one that's been recolored?
It's been recolored a little bit. I think it looks fantastic though. I know Christopher Doyle said like, let's not masturbate over our projects, which is pretty funny. I mean, it's true, but I just watched 2046 and that was fantastic. Definitely. I love Wong Kar-wai though. Big fan. Everyone talks Chungking Express. In the Mood for Love.
I haven't seen In the Mood for Love yet. I've seen Chungking and I've seen Fallen Angels.
Yeah, and those are like Fallen Angels is that it's like a prequel to his movies all kind of like work together, and because 2046 is a sequel to In the Mood for Love.
How did you find Fallen Angels? Like when I watched it, I remember it being like really sporadic, like
some streaming service. I forget. It's been years.
Oh no, I mean like how did you find like the experience of watching it? Like
I liked it at the time. It's been like a few years since I watched it, so my tastes have shifted a little. So I'd probably need to rewatch it to kind of give a more like accurate.
It was like when I watched it, I thought there's so many really cool shots in this movie, but it like, am I mixing it up with 2046? I feel like Fallen Angels.
No, Fallen Angels is the one with the gunfights in it.
Yeah, it almost has no plot.
It sort of is very drifty, and then there are sequences where the shutter speed goes down and the guns go up.
Yeah.
Same with Chungking.
Same with every Wong Kar-wai. That's
like a very Hong Kong aesthetic. The low shutter speed.
Yeah, that was also in that movie Houseu, the Japanese horror movie. Yeah.
That's a really fun movie.
Yeah, I did like that one.
Yeah. But anyways,
so Rango.
Yeah. This is just this is how all of our podcasts have been.
Let's talk about a movie, and then it becomes let's talk about 100 movies.
Yeah, exactly. But see, that's what it is. People are.
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's how conversations are.
Can I say something about
or pre? Or I mean, what's the word? What's the prefix for like current? Pre, post, and then Pre is before, post after, current.
Current is just.
It's just now. I don't know. I don't think there is one. Yeah.
Like
pre and post. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, other languages have, like I know Russian has the suffixes for, like when you're doing something currently, there's a specific suffix for it, but I don't know if we have that in English.
Okay, so back to Rango real quick. I want to say something about Gore Verbinski,
who
I think might actually be pretty Kino in especially a certain way. The guy knows how to do an action set piece.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Yeah.
A lot of people give him shit for like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, right?
Rewatch them. It's been again. I grew up watching them like when I was like a little kid. So like the first three, I like loved those when I was like 8, or that like the third one came out in 2007, so I was 8 when that one came out. But I'd been watching them since I was 6, so like a quarter of my life at that point. But and I remember watching them on repeat. So I think I still remember a good amount of the sequences. But I'd want to rewatch them just to really like,
Yeah.
But whether or not they're good, whether or not they're good,
though, are they really?
Gore Verbinski secured the bag.
He really did. Yeah.
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 Pirates of the Caribbean 4 is like, I'm pretty sure that's still the most expensive movie ever made.
Yeah, I believe
it's not Justice League.
No, Pirates of the Caribbean 4. I'm going to bring up the budget right here.
But like including the Zack Snyder stuff, would that make that the most expensive movie is my question. Because it had its production budget, then it had to do the reshoots, and then it had the Snyder Cut.
Right? That's a good point.
No, but even with the Snyder Cut, I don't think it actually...
Really?
For the Fountain of Youth, yeah, when you hear the budget for this, it's going to blow your socks off.
For the Pirates 4?
Yeah, so Pirates 4, the budget was $378,500,000. Even with Justice League, I think Justice League was not even.
Is that like that's like the total like production and advertising, or is that?
No, that's not even advertising.
Well, okay, all right. So
the
Pirates of the Caribbean 4, right?
Yeah, that's Pirates of the Caribbean.
IMDb
4.
is wrong then.
Oh,
IMDb
isn't it
wrong.
always wrong?
Is it always wrong on budget?
I think so. I think there's lots of guessing, right?
So
the first thing that comes up when I look the most expensive movie ever made is Pirates of the Caribbean 4.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
He secured the bag.
Would not think that.
And then
you wouldn't think
what I understood too is like half of the budget usually is just advertising.
Usually you double the budget. That's kind of how you can guess the advertising.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
How did that happen? What was what?
I don't know.
Holy shit! Wait a second. You got 370 something? I'm seeing 410.
You're seeing 4
on Google. I just Googled Pirates 4 budget and 410.6 million US.
Just think, that movie is a $500 million movie, and they probably spent $1 billion on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the advertising.
Yeah,
and then how much
is it allowed to play in China?
It made $1 billion worldwide.
Yeah. So they made their money back.
Barely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the problem that's the problem with the really big movies. Is like bigger the movie.
There's such huge risks that they feel like they need to appeal to the broadest audience possible.
Yeah.
And you end up with like movies that feel like checklists.
You end up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It's just the same thing.
Jared doesn't want to say anything because he might get like a role as the Flash.
Oh, yeah.
No. Well, I mean, like what I will say, I have been up for roles in the Marvel Universe.
Okay.
So, speaking of the MCU, I have a little brain game, I guess, for Jared and Oki to play right now.
Okay.
And that is, if the three of us were to be superheroes, who would we be?
Only the ones that have been canonically established.
Yeah, because I don't know anything about the comics.
Okay. No, I'm just saying like we can't make up fake superheroes. Okay.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't know. Just like in terms of like who I would want to like embody them or have their powers.
Okay, so I just had a brain blast, Jimmy Neutron, epic Jimmy Neutron reference right here.
Yeah.
So Oki and I are Iron Man and Warhammer, and Jared is Spider-Man.
Okay. I was gonna say like Dr. Manhattan.
I have a fear of
like that's what I was going to watch.
Yeah, because Oki's just the guy who's like, I'm just tired of humanity.
But also just being able to like see like the past, present, and future, and keep all that shit in mind all the time, and just be end up being so nihilistic that you go to Mars because who cares? Like that. There's something so like appealing about that.
Yeah.
Or you know what? I would actually probably be Osmond Day, whatever his name is. Who's like the ultra rich guy, like Ozymandias or something like that in Watchmen.
And Ozymandias.
Yeah, there you go.
Also the best Breaking Bad episode.
Oh yes, yeah. That is the name of the. So I would it would be someone who has like who's super fucking smart.
Of course. Very, very small ego there.
Over being like super strong.
I just got back and okay.
Yeah.
I looked at it and then it came back and then it seemed like I was going to cut out right immediately after it came back.
Oh yeah, no worries. I'm recording it all on my end, so it should be good.
Cool. Sorry, what did I miss? What did I miss?
I said I would be Dr. Manhattan or what is his name again?
Right. Yeah, Dr. Manhattan.
Ozymandias. Ozymandias. That's how you pronounce it, I think. Yeah.
Ozymandias and Dr. Manhattan are two different.
Yeah. Well, basically.
No, I'm saying like I would either be one of
either or.
I'm not saying that they're the same. Yeah, no.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait. And then what? I'm Spider-Man. Is that?
Well, no. You
characters. I don't know.
You can pick. You can pick
any comic book.
The problem is that none of the superheroes weed.
None of them smoke weed.
That I know of, right? I don't.
There's probably some edition of Spider-Man where he smokes weed.
Yeah.
There has to be at one point. Someone wrote like, where
that I'm secretly an emo kid, so I would probably say I'm Dream from Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
Oh yeah, no, that would be cool.
Yeah.
So we're going I'm sorry. So we're going like personality type who we would match with, not necessarily wannabe.
Oh, I went with Powers personally.
What
but imagine
really
having
answer that one.
Imagine having like imagine having the ability to go into dreams. I would go into David Lynch's dreams and just watch what unfolds. Yeah. Oh, and actually,
it would be him like just jumping on a trampoline with his transcendental meditation people.
Actually, so that is going to lead me into another topic. So, Jared, I know for a while on Twitter, you're playing the game of guessing David Lynch's numbers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I think I stopped after his birthday because I didn't know how to follow up. All the numbers. I just was like, I'm stumped. I stumped myself. And days. It was just,
Yeah, because every day he would like pick a number out and show it to the camera.
Yeah,
right?
And it was, it's fun. I enjoyed it. I mean, I think what I also realized too is that nothing really beat the euphoria of the first week of doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like getting it right for like 4 days in a row. And then after a while it was sort of off and on, maybe I'd get it right a day or I'd get like one of the secondary options right. Sometimes I got the bad one, and that was kind of fun because it's like still getting like guessing one out of, and then getting that. But,
this is how casinos work. You were gambling, but with no money. It's get the initial wins. And you get all the losses.
Yeah, no, I know. I was realizing that. It was like, because it's all chance pretty much. And you can't really guess it.
Jared, I have a question. I have a question for you. So going forward, would you want to do acting or would you, because you said you would go to like NYU, right?
Yeah, so I have sort of, I think I want to, I don't know, I want to continue acting, and I'm at NYU for film, as a film student, not as an acting student.
And you were at and that's how you met the YouTuber Taylor J. Williams, right?
Yeah. I had a class with him first half of junior year.
Yeah.
And just so happened that I was able. He was kind enough to act in my intermediate film, which is like the level below advanced.
Okay.
So
No, go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say I currently I shot it in my house in here for at least a couple scenes. November 2019.
Oh wow! That's a while ago.
Yeah, I'm just really. It's a mixture of the pandemic and me being really slow with shit. At this point, it's on me. The sound has been finished. It's edited. I kind of want to add some music. I think I was sort of holding back on it, but sort of watching it without it, I kind of think that like maybe I need a little something in the sound, a little something extra there. And
if you need music people, I'll
the Schuler.
We
hell yeah, dude.
Schuler or Sweet Release. I've got like a whole bunch of music people who do stuff for me. All my videos I use original music on. So I have a lot of guys who can give you things. Sweet Release will give you stuff that's more sort of like
I can share it with you, and I mean, because I have ideas, because I can tell you which scenes that which moments, and I don't know, I realize that like music is an extremely subjective thing, and so it's like it's one of those things that I want to get right. I don't want to like, because I feel like it's it's like a student film with music is usually not that great. Very like kitschy or like very whatever, and I maybe I go in that direction, maybe I don't know, maybe I don't, and
just shoot it to me after.
And I'll one of his guys is Schuler.
Check it out. Yeah.
He did the music for the Jacob Wall video. And that guy, you give him any soundtrack, and he could just like kind of replicate it. So I was just giving him a bunch of stuff that I.
They want money. What do they want? How much? Like how
much? Not very expensive at all.
Yeah.
So
it's affordable.
But the thing is, too, it's not a lot of music. It's a 4-minute thing, and I'm only thinking about a few sort of moments in it that I just think that like maybe.
It won't. Trust me, it won't break the bank at all.
No,
we're YouTubers. We operate on very little money.
Let's just say, do you like if you use like a food delivery service, you're probably spending more on that.
Sure. Okay. I think I use things that spend more. On that But I guess I don't know.
Yeah, my budget.
I just wanted to make sure it's like in the reasonable range.
Yeah. No, it's not like some artist is gonna be like, $2,000 for no, nothing like that. The budget for each of my videos is about $50.
Okay, I can work with 50. I can do that. I can do that for sure.
Here's a question I also have for you. So before I started doing this, like I was really interested in like either trying to write a script and get that on the blacklist, or try and like make like an independent short or feature. Do you feel like you were in a decently big movie, very well regarded, critically loved movie. Do you think that gives you any kind of advantage whatsoever, where you would be able to like, I don't know, like make a feature and get it financed, or get your thing, like if you write a script, get it?
I mean, I really have no idea. This industry, the way things get made, and the sort of nature of this industry is extremely volatile, and well-established people have difficulty getting things made still. So it's like, it's a difficult question for me to like give a confident answer to. I'll admit. I mean, I'm making NYU is sort of like my opportunity in that way to make things. Admittedly, I am, things have been sort of, because of the pandemic and everything, things have been kind of put into focus for me a little bit in terms of what I want to do, I guess priorities, and I haven't made a firm decision yet, but it's, I think like I want to lean to acting, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Not to say that like I don't enjoy making movies. It's just school. I have very little energy for school. I get that sounds really petty.
You're talking to like two college dropouts here.
Yeah.
I just really I've lost my for it completely. It just
don't ask us
assignments.
Don't ask us. We're just gonna tell you to leave.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just
you should just.
It's like it's not even like I'm not sure if it's like even an NYU specific thing. I think it's just and I am wiped when it comes to.
Oh yeah, I get it. Well, I totally get it.
Jared, as an older guy who's been through it all, I would just say, use your name and just make cameos for the rest. Are you familiar with the website Cameo?
Right, yeah. Oh, literal cameos like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not literal cameos.
No. I mean the website Cameo where you make cameos and send them to people. I know what you're talking about. Okay. I say literal cameos. I meant literally the app Cameo.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Just do that.
Right. Literal cameo can mean both cameo definitions. I apologize.
Choose. Make sure that people pay you $50, and if it's a business that wants you to endorse them, charge them $350.
Yeah.
And advertise that, and you could do that. You'd be good. You go to conventions. You sign
I don't know
shit.
if I'd ever want to do a convention thing. Cameo. That because I have the safety of it being on my phone.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Convention that seems like playing.
That's like your career
playing with fire. A little bit playing with fire.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
although I have gone to conventions, I have done convention-y stuff, just not like I've never done like anything where like I have people pay me to pose for photos or anything like that. I'm not.
It's weird,
but
like
what will happen, what has happened actually, there's like a Wes Anderson or there's a art studio. They do Wes Anderson fan art, like a annual thing every year where they have an exhibition where they sell a bunch of Wes Anderson movie fan art, and they also have a booth at Comic-Con, and so I have gone and like hung out there before and taking pictures with people, but I don't think they were for money ever. I have gone, and I also have been on the other side too, where my mom, because Comic-Con are Star Trek actors. My mom got like a photo thing with Carl Urban.
Okay,
okay.
I think it was made to surprise my dad, because I think we had tried getting one with. We tried doing one with Brent Spiner, but something happened and it didn't work out. And, it kind of was going to be fun for us because we had actually met him like many, many years ago. In fact, it was like a weekend after I finished filming Moonrise. I took like a little vacation to Toronto.
Yeah.
And
and you didn't
same country. I don't know where in Canada you are, but
he's in Toronto.
Hey, are you in Toronto?
And you didn't
visit Toronto, yeah.
Nice.
You didn't visit Oki?
How dare you, dude? I thought you liked
it was like
Jacob
10 years.
Wall
I was
video.
12 years old. I was 12 years old. You would not have wanted me to visit you, man.
Actually, no. When Moonrise Kingdom came out, like I had that. I just would rewatch that movie. I was in Kenya. I just rewatch that movie all the time. It was on my laptop. Great movie.
Wait, when did you move to Toronto?
I lived in Toronto my whole life, but I spent some time in Kenya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool. That's like around 2012, 2013.
The movie came out in May 2012.
Yeah, okay. So I think
June.
it was
we have the literal expert right here. So if you have any
But yeah, anyway, I guess what I was kind of getting at with the con thing, I apologize. I went on a million tangents inside tangents.
That's what we do here.
That's what we do.
Carl Urban was like the makeup, because we'd met Brent Spiner. We ran into him in Toronto, and he was a super nice guy. And we saw that he was going to be at Comic-Con. We wanted to see him again just to say hi and take a photo. But I guess something happened and it didn't work out. I forget the exact details, and so we did Karl Urban instead. And just going through that whole experience and just sort of seeing it, you're stuck in like a booth, and like it's just like people after people after people, and you're smiling for the camera, for probably hours on end. I do not know if I have the energy for that.
That does sound pretty exhausting.
Yeah, I spoke to, because we have one here called Pensacon, and I remember one year, actually nobody was at his booth, so I just went up to him. I started talking to him, because I was like doing the photography or whatever for Pensacon, so I would talk to the people, and it was Sam Levine. He was in Freaks and Geeks, and, the really Jewish kid in Freaks and Geeks. He was the younger crowd. So I was talking to him, and I was like, oh, hey, because, we're like a beach town and everything. And I was like, hey, so have you like been able to go to the beach? I want him to have, I was like, hopefully you're having a good time here. And he's like, no, he says, actually, I spend all my, I'm spending all my time in the convention center. It's just between here and the hotel. He's like, it actually really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, the convention stuff isn't really that fun, but, I can do it to meet the fans and whatever. And, but yeah, I was like, man, yeah, that doesn't sound too fun. I was like, well, I hope you have some time.
If you're someone who's in demand, and also if again, especially with the Karl Urban, when you're really big, celebrity, it's not even just like the booth, it's like you're in like your own little like room.
I've seen like images of like people
side
Shatner,
and so it feels like a green room, waiting room. It's very
it's weird.
It doesn't feel like there's being in a booth on the convention floor with all the people. That's kind of that can probably be very hectic, especially I'd imagine in San Diego.
Yeah,
I never went there. Yeah. I only ever went to the New York one on the East Coast.
But the New York one, wait, I want to say, isn't the New York one where the guy cosplayed as Peter Griffin and he looked exactly like Peter Griffin?
Oh, I saw that image.
There's that YouTube video.
So many cosplayers. It's,
oh no, there's one that's
Comic-Con. Really... That's the whole point.
No. But there's one guy
who does. That's what he does.
So one of my mutual friends is another actor. I haven't spoken to him in years. It's been a long time since I've spoken to him, but his name is Liam Aiken, and he was.
Wait, he was in the Series of Unfortunate Events movie.
Yeah. So he was one of my mutual friends from years ago, but he did a movie with Gavin McInnes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was like,
wait, the Proud Boy.
Yeah. That's what I said.
What movie?
What movie?
It's Ned Rice.
He's acting?
Yeah. So he was acting in it. Both of them were acting in it. It was about Gavin McInnes like teaching him like basically how to have sex or like how to get women.
Oh, is it called How to Be a Man?
Yeah, it's called like How to Be a Man or something like that.
Oh no.
That's gonna be a key.
This is from like 2013, to be fair.
Yeah, that's before
Yeah.
So he was an actor before he was like a he was an actor before he was a Proud Boy.
No. Actually, Gavin McInnes founded Vice.
Oh no, that's right. He founded. I'm sorry, I don't think about him. I try and not think about that guy, so I just sort of forget what he did.
And then when he was losing relevancy, he was shoving dildos up his ass live on stream.
God.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, because that was going all around like 4chan and Reddit at the time, where it was like, like he's sunk to a new low. This is Gavin McInnes. What is it with internet personalities losing relevancy, and they decide that they want to just start like shoving things up their ass? Didn't The Amazing Atheist do that too?
But that was a mistake. I think that with Gavin, for example, like that was just like that kind of fell in line with his humor. Like the first video I saw from him, he was like gyrating his hips, and he was in just like a Speedo. So his dick was like, and he was doing it in front of people's faces, right?
I don't even want to. I don't even want to picture that.
So he
you're telling it to me. It's too much,
and that's just been his style of humor. So once the downfall happens, then like once he does something like put a dildo up his ass, then it's like, oh, that's just something to criticize him for, even though he's been doing it for so long.
Yeah,
shit like that, right?
I don't know, dude. I would never do something like that. Even if I was losing relevancy, it just seems like that's just going way overboard. And that's being a tryhard at that point.
Yeah, probably. I think he has a very like frat boy sense of humor.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So that's like kind of what, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Basically like, haha, I'm gay. Not really.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's like that kind of like, yeah. LOL, my penis is on your face, bro. Ha ha ha. Like there's people who just like, And
then people like looking on are just like, where's the joke?
There's no joke other than like, I'm acting so gay that I can't possibly be gay, even though this is kind of gay. So,
it's like it's such a fucking old headway or old like fucking
it's like a Van Wilder movie, it's like one of those kind of very old school way of thinking.
Old school.
It's like he imagines himself to be in Animal House, but he's like in his 40s and he's still imagining himself as a character from Animal House.
Yeah.
But it's like the thing about Animal House is that it's only funny when it's like 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
If you were to, because kind of the joke of the movie Old School was that these guys were way too old for this. And you were like,
be doing that.
To still be doing that. And it's like, you don't get it, Gavin. Like, come on, you're in your 40s. Like, I don't know, be a dad. Like, just be a normal person, Don't act like you're John Belushi or Jim Belushi.
What was the name of the movie that you mentioned earlier? How to be a man?
How to be a man.
Yeah. Also, I looked it up. It's like there's a cancer element to the movie too.
Oh yeah, he has cancer and he's like making this for Liam Aiken or something. Like his character, like I'm gonna teach
Gavin
you. Gavin
McGinnis has to play a character with cancer.
Yeah, this sounds like a KinoKast episode. We gotta all watch it.
We should do that. Yeah, fuck yeah, that would be fun.
But like, oh no, what's the Parents Guide? Oh geez, this has to be. Oh well, no, right? This is about sex, so it's like very raunchy.
So there's another movie I want to do a KinoKast on called I'm blanking out on the name right now. It's with John Travolta. Remember?
The Fanatic.
No, not that one. This is from White Man's Burden. Okay, remember this?
I think you mentioned it. Yeah.
So John Travolta, 1995, White Man's Burden, where the black and white people's societal roles are reversed, and John Travolta is like,
oh yes. Yeah.
Look this up, Jared. It's a real movie. I'm not shitposting. Harry Belafonte. And John Travolta does this really bad black accent. Remember that? We were watching the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, yo, what am I doing this for? And
yeah,
it's like,
I laughed so hard when I saw that. It's so fucking funny. Oh man, have you ever seen Steven Seagal? Like when he's like he had a show where he acted like he was a cop. They just basically gave him like an honorary like deputy ship or whatever. So he had this reality show where he's just going around and like pulling people over. And every time he did it, he would put on a black accent. So he'd be like, "What you staying at?" But the whole show is just him doing that and acting like he's some sort of law enforcement and doing a black accent the whole time. I don't know. It's so fucking funny.
He talked about this because I worked on a Steven Seagal movie. And it's actually, so I didn't know this. I knew that the movie sucked, but I didn't know this at the time or since until recently. It was easy peasy. Told me because he's a big Steven Seagal sort of lol cow, sort of follower. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh yeah. So the movie I worked on was called The Perfect Weapon. He's like, that's considered like the lowest of the low points for Steven Seagal. And he goes, I can't believe you fucking worked on that, man. You know, like that's like the worst Steven Seagal movie. I was like, yeah, I was a body double. So they brought me on it. So one of my, like, it was like a friend of a friend who was like the casting director, and they needed a body double for a scene, and they were looking for someone who was 6'2". So the only person they could think of was me. So I show up on set, and I was off to a bad start from the get-go because I was a crafty. And there was this guy that was a lot shorter than I am now, to be honest. Like, I'm a pretty tall guy, so, you know, but he looked about my same age, and I was like, oh, hey, are you a PA on here? And he goes, no, I'm the director.
That is a Freudian slip right there.
So that was, I mean, obviously,
as far as set goes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I thought like he looked like a PA, but that's the thing is that, you know,
I did have a similar thing, not in a film set, but in a college class where the professor walked in, and I don't think I said anything, but I definitely thought in my head, oh, I wonder what year she's in or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but you think that, like, there's the film joke, right? What are the two entry-level jobs on a film set? PA and director.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, thankfully he was like, oh no, it's cool, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was like, sorry, I don't know anybody here. But so the guy that was supposed to be body doubling for was bald. So the casting director came to me, and he's just,
oh no.
The guy's kind of crazy, right? There's a lot of people in the industry that are kind of crazy, but this guy, a little bit more so than others. He goes, so Peter, would you mind if we shaved your head? And I'm like, this is for a one-day job.
And you're just being like a body double. You can't they can't do like a full scalp or any on you.
And I said, no way. I was like, I'm not shaving my head, like not for a one-day. I'm not shaving my head for $150 or whatever. I think that's how much I got paid. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And he goes, oh, okay, well, I don't know how to use you then. It's like, it's not my problem, dude. You know? So I ended up just being a stand-in for Richard Tyson on that movie, who was in that movie 3 O'Clock High. He was telling me all about Steven Seagal's cop show, though. So that's how I found. So that's how I found out about it. Is Steven Seagal's cop shows that I ended up, because I refused to shave my head, I just became the stand-in for another guy who was like, have you seen Steven Seagal's cop show? And I was like, no, like I haven't seen anything by Steven Seagal.
He was Steven Seagal on the set. Good.
No, I didn't see. He was only in a couple scenes. But I did, you know, actually the one cool actor I did get to meet on that. And I gotta say it was really cool because I talked to him for hours, and I ended up like meeting up with him after that set too. Super nice guy. Was Vernon Wells, who was the bad guy in Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior.
Oh, okay. I've only seen Fury Road.
And he was also the bad guy in Commando. The one with the mesh.
I've seen Commando.
You know, the guy that wore like the mesh thing. He was kind of a metrosexual kind of guy.
That's like every 80s
villain. Steam, the let off some steam guy.
Yeah, I think so. He's Australian. He's Australian. But he was the guy with the mohawk in Mad Max 2.
Jared, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you were pretty young when you shot Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah, I was 12.
Did you realize like the caliber of director and caliber of actors that you were working with at the time, or did that come later?
Well, I definitely. I mean, I had watched at that point when filming had started. I had watched like most of Wes's movies by then, just because, not because I had already seen them by the time I had been cast, but because when I got cast, I was like, I should watch them just to familiarize myself, and so, you know, seeing, you know, getting a feel for his like visual style really helped, and I mean also too at that age that was like really one of the first, you know, times I sort of was like noticing that in like a movie, And I feel like a lot of people say that about his work, and that's kind of the same for me.
So I have another question.
Because I had to watch them. Yeah. And then as far as the actors go, I was very aware of who I was working with. I was like
Bruce Willis.
I was like Bill Murray. At that point I was already like very into Ghostbusters and like What About Bob?
Okay, sick, yeah.
At least probably a couple more that I'm blanking on right now, but like I was very well aware of who I was working with, and I hadn't seen every movie that everyone was in. Like at that, I hadn't seen Fight Club yet. I wouldn't for a few more years.
Or the 25th Hour.
No, I hadn't seen that either. I had seen The Incredible Hulk though. That was my
the 2008 one.
Yeah, the 2008 one.
The Kino one.
I saw it when it was in theaters.
The Kino one.
That's one of the better ones, yeah.
I actually like Tim Roth was the bad guy in that one.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he gets like pretty maimed and then becomes a CGI monster.
I actually, I liked Ed Norton. Okay, so I liked Ed Norton as the Hulk more than Mark Ruffalo.
What I will say is I wish they got the VFX right with him. I feel like they got the VFX. I like I do like the newer ones that the Hulk looks more like the actor.
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't really do that with
they didn't because they didn't really know what they were doing back then.
Yeah. And so admittedly, like looking back, there is more of a divide and maybe, less of a credit, it sells it maybe a little less than like but
so I have another
comic book movies.
So I have another question. No, we've talked about Moonrise Kingdom. I don't want you to be in like every single podcast you go on. It's just kind of like saying all the same stories and everything like that.
I get it. Yeah, totally.
But who would you say was like your favorite actor to work with? Just like that you had a good
Jason,
friendship.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your question there. I just was like, in terms of my excitement level heading into the production and of like people I was already like a fan of by that point. Like I was a huge fan of Jason and like Scott Pilgrim. Like,
no.
So it was like
Jason's like the nicest guy too.
He was a really super nice, super forthcoming with like talking about like he was sharing experiences from even like Bored to Death with us.
Yeah. Did I tell you that I met Jason a few years ago?
Maybe.
What
happened?
So I was walking on the street and Jason was walking there with the guy from Parks and Rec. What's his name? Leslie's boyfriend.
I've got to watch Parks and Rec.
Do you know who? Okay.
Adam Scott.
So Jason was walking on the street with Adam Scott, and I walked past him. And I was like, holy shit, that was Jason Schwartzman. Adam Scott, like, I like his stuff too, but come on, Jason's in like... Yeah. And so I go, Jason! He like turns around and I say, Rushmore is like one of my favorite movies. I go, I just have to tell you that. And so he's like 15 feet away and he goes, give me a hug, man. And he just runs and hugs me. And I was like, holy shit. Like, and we were talking. Huh? Yeah. And we talked for a long time. He actually, he has family from Pensacola, so he's in my town pretty often.
Oh, that's neat. That's neat.
Yeah.
He was like super. Like, in fact, I think I heard about this like after the fact that like maybe Wes, it was and Gat had told him maybe like to not be as social with us, just to have a little bit of a distance. I guess maybe just for the character and the scenes.
Yeah. Because naturally he seems very sociable.
Yeah, no, we were like, everyone was like chatting with him in between takes, joking and stuff. It was like, very made the move, made it as casual as we probably could make it, for professional movie production. But
how does Wes Anderson get like, because you were almost a teenager at the time, but I'm still gonna say like a child actor. How does he get someone so young to like replicate like the way that like you deliver the lines in that movie?
Guys, Jared is a great actor. You know,
it's all this like
process.
what does he say? Does he say like, I want you to speak slower and more like?
Are we supposed to be talking about Rango here?
I don't know. I just want to know.
Let's not be giving Jared the third degree. What are you, a lawyer?
Yeah, hey, this is an interrogation. You're on the stand.
I mean, you say you're
So does he say like, I don't know, like do it without any emotion, like just the way that you deliver the line?
Right now I'll admit, it's been 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm not remembering verbatim exactly.
He's pleading the fifth. Okay.
All right.
Well, no. What I will say is that, like, what I will say broadly speaking, is that from my memory of it, was that we did spend a good amount of time rehearsing. There was about a month, the month prior to when we first stepped on set. Kara, who played Susie, and me would like go to base camp in Rhode Island once a week and run through all of our scenes with one of the producers, but then also run through rehearse scenes with Wes and.
I think Jared just cut out.
Yep.
All right. I'm just going to take this moment as Jared just cut out because his internet's not super great. But for any filmmakers out there, rehearsal is incredibly important. It's probably the most important thing you can do. Now it's saying my internet connection is unstable. Uh-oh. I don't care. I know. I'll piece it all together in post.
KinoKast. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. That's what makes it interesting, right? No, but rehearsal is very important.
Yeah.
It's good that the actors know what they're going to do before you actually put them in front of the camera. Just on my own movie, I just had, I think we did he just cut out. He's going to have to come back in here. Here he is.
Welcome back.
Right. Hey, so where did I cut off?
You said that you were rehearsing
rehearsals,
but then
doing it a month before.
But see, I filled in for you, so you don't really have to worry about that too much.
I can say what I was very important. I don't know what I was saying. It's just that broadly speaking, my memory of it was that the rehearsals were more figuring out the characters and the emotions, and the scenes, and how they'd feel. And then when we were on set, it was some of that for sure, but also a lot of timing and pacing, sort of trying to get the rhythm right. And
how did Wes do the pacing? Because that's I actually have a bit of a story. One of the guys that was in my movie that's going to be releasing this month, he starred in a movie called Mallrats. Jeremy London. And what he told me, now this is I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this, but he told me that a lot of the actors on Moonrise got mad at Kevin Smith because how he did pacing was with a stopwatch. And he'd be like, you have to get this, you have to say this line.
Never used a stopwatch.
Well, I figure Wes would never do that. I figure Wes would never do this. This is just like this. It's just an insane story that Kevin Smith just had a stopwatch, and he was like to Jeremy and to Ben Affleck and to like all these guys, just like, you didn't get this under 5 seconds. He'd be like, you were like half a second to over. We gotta do it again. And
so it was like directions were more like literally just timing based and less.
Yeah. And I know Wes doesn't work. I've watched enough like stuff or to know that he doesn't work like that. But this is just to anyone listening, just don't do that unless you really want to piss off your actors.
That does seem like really annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was like it was the right sort of mood or the right project or the right scene, I can see maybe, if it really was important, I guess, I haven't seen a single Kevin Smith movie. I should probably mention that first. But my idea of a Kevin Smith movie is not that like the actors would be sort of trying to get their lines out within a specific time. In my head,
you wouldn't think so.
I always thought they were more lackadaisical or like
you
stonery or
It's just like, Seth Rogen. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, from what I've watched a couple documentaries on Wes. All the Criterion Collection stuff, obviously. So I know the Maisels made him making The Life Aquatic, and about him making, I watched a documentary behind the scenes of like the Darjeeling Limited, the Royal Tenenbaums and Rushmore.
Yeah, I think right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he actually seems a lot more.
What you're gonna say?
I was just gonna say he seems a lot more chill than people really give him credit for.
No, he's extremely chill, just extremely like warm and kind.
Nice.
Not not like I feel like there's a sort of expectation that people have, and I don't think he's quite like that, but he's great. I really
and that's the way to
working in that movie.
That's the way to be as a director, like just I don't know, my own philosophy to directing. I know there's some directors who just like love to just torture their actors or whatever, but I'm like, you're all doing this together.
I'll admit there are movies by directors who are torturers that I love, but it's not something that I would ever.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard like David Fincher, he just like makes people do like 50 takes.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard him. I feel like I've listened to him explain that or watched interviews. That seems like doing a lot of takes, I think, is like one thing, but like sort of doing what you do in between those takes, I think, is what sort of matters. And so it's like
I think too that
doing a lot of takes is like fine. It can be strenuous for sure, and especially if it's an emotional scene. Doing a lot of takes, that's a lot for sure.
Yeah,
but like if everyone's into it and it's something that everyone's capable of, I think it serves the movie. I think that's okay. It's just as long as like in between the director isn't just like, oh, that's shit that whatever.
I could see the
things like that. As opposed, the way to do it is like in between takes. It's like you say, all right, let's do one more. In fact, Wes. This is one thing I do remember. Wes, in fact, would do a lot of, we'd do takes, and then he'd be like, let's do one more. And then it's usually like really 10 more or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I have worked with people who've been like, all right, let's try 6 takes, and then we'll do that. And, that's fine too. And,
yeah, and
I think that sort of, for me at least, it's like what happens in between the takes, not necessarily the amount. In fact, I've worked on things where I've done setups in a few takes, and I've sort of felt like, oh man, maybe I needed more, like what if I? And sometimes I can, not always. It's not, but it's sort of. Sometimes has happened. And so like when I do a lot of takes, at the end of that, usually there is a higher level of like satisfaction or just assurance that like one of those takes worked. Something
one of them are brilliant.
Sure. Like
they have to be. We just did fucking 60 takes. It has to be great.
But then it's like if you do like a few takes, then the feeling is like, oh man, I hope one of those was the right one,
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing about like maybe how I direct, and I know that I got into some. So there are some actors on, my film that like, I guess really understood where I was coming from and everything. And then some actors that maybe felt like I wasn't, I don't know, praising them enough or something like that. Because when I wouldn't really do that many takes, I would focus more on rehearsal. And so maybe we did the scene as many times as a David Fincher thing.
Well, I mean, like rehearsing is important. I mean, if you're doing a few takes, if you've done rehearsal, that's fine. It's like, I've just done it where I've been on where there hasn't been adequate or a lot of rehearsal time, and then I'm on set and we're just sort of going and it's things where I don't know.
I'm a huge fan of rehearsal. Rehearsal is just I come from the theater initially, so I'm like
rehearsing helps me a lot.
Yeah, I'm like rehearse, and then now it's like we're on stage with an audience. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel about it. But there's some actors where I was like, if we got the take, I didn't want to like overadulate, like overpraise them. Because from my own perspective, when somebody overpraises me, I feel like I'm a fraud,
For praise. Oh, sure.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah. And so I just be like, okay, that was good. Let's move on. And I would think, right, that me just saying that means we got the take. Like, you guys did a good job. You
know,
like that. Got what I wanted. But there are some actors that I guess thought that I wasn't.
Where maybe. And and I guess you kind of have to watch for that. See how they respond to your comments and all that.
Just because from my own personal experience, if somebody's like, "Oh, that's amazing," you know, I just go, "They're lying to me." Like, in my head, you know, I'm just thinking like,
I get that. I can relate to that for sure.
Yeah. But anyways, Rango. Rango.
I mean, in a way, you know, he's doing and playing a part, and in a way, he's successful. Even though it seems like he won't be, and he's, you know, it's like, how am I, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Rango's all about acting.
It's acting, imposter syndrome. You know,
yeah. It definitely imposter syndrome, because he's like, I'm not this guy. Like, and in fact, the fact that he kills the bird is like completely by accident, and everyone's like, he did it. Actually, that's a funny thing.
So it's funny though, because like he has that story that he tells in the bar. Sorry.
No, sorry.
No, Jared goes. Jared, you go first.
Yes, you are the guest.
Like, just the one setup payoff that I can think of from the movie. Just when he tells the story of the bar of how he killed the one guy with the bullet that went in a million directions, and then of course that happened. He does it, like things like that, where you know that you can definitely see as being metaphors for that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like this one small thing that ends up having this great catastrophic effect. You know.
But also, I guess the idea too, just like saying that he did something that he's never done before, but then all of a sudden doing it.
And it happens a couple times. It happens a couple times in the film. There's a few things.
Few of those.
There's a few of those. And actually, you know, as much as maybe it becomes a little bit predictable, it still is fun when they play out. You know, you're like, oh yeah, this is harking back to the first act, and it's still fun when that kind of stuff plays out.
Yeah. I think it's well paced and it's well edited to the point where you're not sort of like predicting it or trying to predict it. And like, it kind of runs at a pretty steady clip from my memory of it, and you're sort of being presented with enough new visuals pretty much throughout the whole movie. It keeps kind of giving you new stuff. It doesn't sort of settle ever. You know, it has that almost like the Lego movie. Similarly feels that way to me.
You know, and it's funny because I was watching it again today, and I was kind of reminded of Mad Max Fury Road, the way that there's that whole scene where it's like the road thing and they're being attacked on all sides, and then they end up having to come back.
Moves the sequences, and it's all there is a lot of like quick cutting, but it never feels too quick. You're always what's going on. It's and the setting, beyond just the setting, of course. Yeah,
and Johnny Depp actually, he was and
it is water based. It's about water.
Yeah, it's about water.
The abuse of power with regards to shortening water supplies.
Well, and you could say that the water is is really a symbol for power as well, because
that's it.
Because it's like, whoever controls the water controls the town. And at the end, it's like giving the power to the people, where the streets are flooded with water. And he uses the water to actually destroy the sort of crony capitalist kind of ruler of this town.
It's like the two of them are trapped in the water tank, and they gotta
Yeah, exactly. And so he's using that his own power against him in a sense. And what was also a really interesting visual was how the guy is a turtle. So when he's on his back, he's literally helpless. You know what I mean?
I kept thinking of Mitch McConnell every time he was on screen.
Did you?
I was like, oh yeah, there's Mitch McConnell right there.
Wait, did you see that? Did you see the tweet from me today? I was like, mainstream media died and this is its tomb. And it was Fox tweeted this thing, and it was a Muppet of Mitch McConnell in the bathroom.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I haven't really been on Twitter much today because I've just been doing stuff.
That's better for your mental health. It's better for your mental health.
When it's essay stuff, I'm not the biggest fan of writing essays, and that can be for me. But
I write essays for a living.
but I mean, it's stuff that you want to write about. It's stuff that like
exactly. That's the difference.
Invested in, and
have you ever thought about doing YouTube? You would probably you already have.
I've had thoughts. Like I've had even before fucking Moonrise, I had a friend in middle school and we were joking together that we'd start a YouTube channel or whatever. But that was just us 11-year-olds joking. But,
okay, Jared,
it's one of those things where it's sort of I feel like there's already such a huge market, and then also
well, that's what everyone says.
You can do it.
Look, Jared,
I'm telling you, it's not. Yeah,
Jared, come on, you know us. Look, if you know me,
I also don't. I'm not as good. I'm not the greatest with doing the motion graphics.
No. It's easy to learn.
It's so simple.
It's easy to learn. It's easy to learn. Look, Jared, if you know me, you know literally everyone on YouTube. Just ask Oki.
Kino Corner knows every big YouTuber for some reason. He is the best networker. I don't know how he does it, but
I know a few. I know a couple.
No, Jared's been on the KinoKast.
I was on.
There you go.
Well, I'm not in good contact with those guys, but I mean,
I know Ralph. That's the only guy from KinoKast that I know. But he doesn't know me as the Kino Corner. He knows me as my real name. So my whole Kino Corner thing, he's not aware
about it.
He doesn't know about it.
You guys worked on a thing together, right?
Yeah. Well, no, he helped me with my feature film a couple of years ago. Or year and a half ago. But he knows me by my real name. But not as the Kino Corner. So do
you know Red Letter Media?
No, I don't know. Unfortunately, although
no one does. No one does though. That's the thing.
Although,
unless you're Macaulay Culkin and Patton Oswalt.
Yeah.
So if you're
other writer guy.
They don't talk to YouTubers.
No, they don't. Although, Jared, I will say this.
What?
The other day, I put out a tweet. I said, I need an e-girl to groom me. And the producer for Angry Video Game Nerd said, I'm in. So
there you go.
AVGN Cinemassacre. Yeah, man. They're going to groom me. I'm 26, about to be 27. But, I'll be groomed by a guy who's 50.
Now, here's the most serious question I have to ask you, Jared. We all hear about Hollywood and the
I don't have any horror stories.
No, I'm not saying that.
I was going to say no. I don't have.
You have to join the ranks of Hollywood at one point. You have to kill a goat. You have to sell your soul to Satan. Let's put an end to this once and for all. What?
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I don't. Okay. I'm not someone. I don't consider myself. I mean, I got close. I've worked on movies that have shot near LA. I've been to LA. I've gone to a few. I went to a few award shows when Moonrise was happening. And I worked on a TV pilot that was a major network pilot, but it got passed over, and that had a lot of very big name people in it.
It happens all the time.
You didn't have to kill a goat.
I did not have to kill a goat. But then again, I don't consider myself Hollywood, so maybe I do have to kill a goat. I don't know.
Eventually, you might have to do that.
That's what I'm kind of trying to get at is
Jared,
adrenochrome.
Jared, okay, I got a pitch for you. I got a pitch for you right now. Okay, so I have a whole documentary set up. Sound bag and Sennheiser Labs and all that kind of stuff. Worth tens of thousands of dollars. So I was thinking about this. I'm in Florida, right? You could come down to Florida. We could take a boat to a little island called Little St. James. And
why does this sound like the start of you're going to kill him?
No. I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to kill him. Little St. James is the Epstein Island. We're gonna invade it. Maybe we'll find we can investigate it, see what Hollywood actors were there. And it's maybe every Oscar winner, you have to go to Little St. James. I don't know.
It's possible.
That's the reason why we have to investigate.
I think so.
Because I don't know. I personally don't know.
I'll find Liam Aiken for this. You might want to find that guy.
Yeah.
Have him do it.
Ask him. No, ask
him. No, of course, I'm just kidding. Although I will be up in DC with all my gear. So if you ever want to do a short film, I'm always down. I know that actually Jared and I were gonna do a short in Paris, and that got scrapped because of COVID. We actually had a lot of funding behind it, unfortunately, and that all.
Paris, France, or Paris, Texas? Or?
Yeah, no, Paris, like France.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, got scrapped because of COVID.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had there are things. I had auditioned for a movie that was shooting, I think, in Toronto, or somewhere in Ontario. But I didn't because COVID hit. I think they ended up going local.
That happened a lot. Yeah, the whole movie industry just got like, it was really hit hard, especially if you weren't living in LA.
Yeah, it was a blow.
Yeah, that's why I started doing YouTube, man. You know, like, I mean, I didn't start.
I mean, the thing is, like, doing YouTube, I guess, it's the commitment thing. Is the idea that, like, if I do it once or a few times and I build an audience, then I'm kind of locked a little bit.
Yeah. Yes and no. Without giving away too much.
Maybe because I'm me and like I'm established as like an actor. Like I can just I can sort of. But I guess you don't really hear a lot of YouTubers who are like side YouTubers who build an audience, right?
I mean,
or not. I guess like I should not really.
I will spend like 5 months in a video, right? And then I could spend that 5 months, and there's no guarantee that I'm gonna get the views that reflects the time and effort that I put into it.
Yeah.
And it could just die at any point. Like I know so many people like that where it's just like the views just they die and there's no reason sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it just happens.
Yeah.
So it is it's a gamble.
And sometimes so one of my friends who's actually gonna be our next guest on the podcast is a YouTuber called Ordinary Things. He's a British YouTuber. And it was kind of the opposite where I've known him for a year and a half at this point. And he was sitting at like 14,000 subscribers for a long time. Sort of like me. And, he was putting out videos like every 2 weeks or, like once a video a month or every 2 weeks or something like that. And then just out of nowhere, he blew up. Like, and I want to say that was around Thanksgiving because he called me during his initial blow up and he was like, Peter, like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, are you seeing my numbers? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm seeing your numbers. Like you were at like 14,000. Now you're like 60,000. Now he's approaching 500,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what happened with that one guy, Joel Haver. Heard of this guy?
I think so.
Okay, might. I don't watch as much.
He's the guy who like does like he'll do like animated, like weird animated skits but it's like the rotoscope type animator, but he uses like an AI software.
Oh, okay.
Like AI.
I gotta look him up. Joel Paver, you said?
Haver with an H.
Okay, I'll look him up.
I think because I just like recently got wind of his channel, but it also seemed to be like because YouTube was putting his stuff in a lot of people's recommended tabs, and he was sort of in the middle of like a big blow up or something.
And I just want to.
So it's like I get that also can happen. There is that phenomenon for sure. I guess it's just like I have a lot of I don't know. It's like it would. I see the potential benefits in terms of just me being able to like I guess just sort of not be super anxious all the time as a person, or just sort of do things and feel like I'm satisfied, I guess, in a life existential sense.
Yes. However, we need to start wrapping up. So I want to segue this to animation, right? Great animation. Rango has great animation.
Yeah.
And I know that we talk about Rango for maybe about 1/20th of this podcast, but I wanted to bring up that
we got Rangoed.
I want to bring up that Timothy Oliphant did a really good job impersonating Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I thought it was
I thought it was Clint Eastwood too. I didn't even.
And I
look
looked it up, and it was Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah. Yeah, Timothy Olyphant did a great job impersonating.
He was in that show, Deadwood, right?
And he was in Justified.
Like
or Justified, or no, okay. I think it was Justified. I'm mixing up with that.
No, wasn't he? Who was on Deadwood? Who were you thinking? Wasn't he also on? Wasn't Timothy Olyphant also on Deadwood? Or am I getting him confused?
I think he was.
He was. I just looked it up. It's him and Ian McShane and Molly Parker, Brad Dourif. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
did I tell you that that's the guy who was the showrunner for Justified was my screenwriting mentor?
Are you talking to the same guy you were talking about earlier who wrote Speed?
Yeah.
At one point,
yeah.
You told me,
he wrote Speed. Yeah. I was seeing his daughter for a little bit, so he was actually, when I was living in Ireland. I think Jared timed out. Jared froze, but I'll just keep talking here. So when I was in Ireland, actually, the last person I talked to in Ireland was Graham Yost. We were leaving Ireland at the same time in the airport, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Graham, how's it going?" I wrote an article on him, but I talked to him for a bit, talked to him about screenwriting and everything, and he gave me a lot of tips on how to write screenplays, and still to this day, I like every time I'm writing something, I think back on what he told me as far as like efficiency in screenwriting and things like that. And it's like, because like one of the things he told me, right, that I still keep to my heart is he said, if I'm writing a scene where Timothy Olyphant, right, Timothy is going to walk across.
That was my internet just dropped out.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I'm just finishing up a thought. So Graham Yost said, when he's talking about Justified, he's like, if I'm writing a scene where one of my characters walks across a room and shoots somebody, he goes, in the screenplay, he says, all right, he walks across the room and shoots him. He said, how he does it, the inflection of it, and all that kind of stuff, he goes, I'll leave to the director. He's like, he goes, in a script, you don't want to like be too flowery with your language because people on set are going to be using that as a guide, and you want to give room for the actors, and you want to give room to the directors to interpret it and to put their own imagination into it. And so I've used that in my own screenwriting process, where I'm like, I want to allow, I'm a very collaborative person. And I'm like, I want to allow the actors to look at the scripts and say, I can, like, what's my interpretation of this? And it's not like I'm dictating exactly what has to happen. And I know that I read Wes's screenplay for Rushmore, and it was very much that way. Was Moonrise Kingdom that way as well?
It's been years since I've read the Moonrise Kingdom script. I mean, it usually has a good amount of detail.
Yeah,
but it's not like emotionally written. It is, you feel like you're kind of like watching one of his movies when you're reading the script, but like,
that's the fashion now.
That's
the fashion.
I have heard that, like, it depends, if like you're writing for yourself to direct, or if you're writing for someone else to direct, and how close you are with that person. It can kind of vary. So, but the standard is usually like making it more objective, unemotional, saying what happens. If you're right, if you're writing it for yourself to direct, you can kind of be a little funny with it. I have read scripts where it's a writer not directing it, where they have been casual in tone and wink winky. Yeah. And I read a big Hollywood script that was very much like that. Big Hollywood script that was very winky in the tone.
Which kind do you prefer? Do you prefer it to be casual or like?
Really, as long as I'm following in the action and I'm getting an emotional feel for it and I'm invested in what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the main
times that I've written, not to say that I'm comparing myself to any writer, because I'm not, but I tend to get, I feel like I jump back and forth, like in terms of the emotion, because there are times when you do want to emotionally pull your audience in when you're writing, if it's like a big moment. I think usually, like, in the scripts that I've read, they can get pretty emotional, or kind of get more about, like, how it feels to watch it, kind of
Mm-hmm.
in terms of language. And sometimes I've read scripts where, you know, the stage directions, it's like talking about like a character's inner thought or whatever, and I've heard usually to stay away from that, but you know, I get it if like
yeah.
you know, especially if you're writing it for yourself to direct, or if you're, again, you have a really good relationship with the director, you're whatever, I don't know. There's a level of understanding, a mutual understanding of the material, then I think it's like okay. But then it's also to, when you're writing to sell to people and to pitch to producers, you know,
it's different.
That's another thing too, where in my head, not that I have no experience with it, my thought would be that I would probably want to put a little bit of emotion, or put a little bit of like something to hook, you know, just because if you're someone who like reads a lot of scripts and is like a stickler,
I can
be a stickler for emotion. I don't know. Sorry.
No, I can talk about this. So I worked as a script doctor for a while. I don't know if Oki knows this. I think I talked to you.
I know you told me about it, yeah.
Yeah. So I worked for a script doctor for a while. And I can tell you that when you're writing for yourself, when directors are writing scripts that they want to direct themselves, it's a totally different story, especially if you're established. I want to say that when you're established, you can get away with a lot more. You know, so someone like Wes Anderson or someone like PTA or something like that, they can pretty much get away with whatever they want as far as how they want to write their scripts. I know that I've read Wes's scripts, and like his early scripts, like Bottle Rocket, Rushmore, and stuff like that, are a lot less descriptive than his newer scripts. I think maybe that's just how he's progressed as a writer, that he's just gotten more descriptive, because
also much more established with his style and
exactly. And so like he knows that he can get these things in the film, and when you're an early filmmaker, you don't necessarily know what you're going to be able to get into the film, so you might want to be a bit more vague in your script, because you're like, I don't know if I'm going to.
Also, though, using the script when you're prepping for a movie, you really do use the script as a guide, and so
yeah, exactly.
Like I definitely see the reason why Wes would like be as deep and descriptive as he is in his scripts, because you know that just, it's helpful for production. Exactly. That way sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not gonna like try to, you know, get into his mind or anything, but I'm almost 100% sure that maybe his rough draft isn't nearly as descriptive as the draft.
I mean, nobody's rough drafts are like their final drafts.
Exactly.
I know. I mean, like, you know, there are things in Moonrise that, you know, got shifted even into production. Like,
I mean, that always
like
happens.
Scenes and actions and things like. Sam and Susie were initially like, they had a couple of scenes where they like had little scuffles, or just like, you know, like the spoiler alert, the dead dog scene when they're looking over the body originally was a bit longer and a little more like intense, I guess, or just like not really intense, but just like
darker.
Susie starts like freaking, sort of panicking over the body, and Sam, as a way of like kind of trying to snap out of it, he like lightly slaps her, and then she like looks at him and like punches him in the face and like knocks him out of the frame. And so we spent like a whole afternoon shooting that scene. And I remember being on the set and Wes being like, after certain takes, being, all right, that was a star take. That was a double star take. And that language usually means that might be the one that ends up in the movie. And so, in fact, when you're saying you don't want to overpraise, that was the thing that Wes would say that would let me know that whatever I just did was like the right thing. I'd hear like that was a star take.
Establish.
And I'd be like, all right, that was a star take, you know. That, you know, and like check the gate, you know, like
those check the gate. Check the gate. That's a big one, which goes back to I just want to say that, you know, Wes is a guy that shoots primarily on film, and he shot Moonrise Kingdom on film. And Jared, Oki, you guys both know that I'm kind of a film purist.
Big film, yeah.
I was.
You shoot some of your YouTube videos on film.
I shot my next YouTube video on film. So and I'm gonna be. I'm looking into buying that 35 millimeter camera that Stanley Kubrick had. You know, like where you see him in Barry Lyndon. the kind of the handheld 35 millimeter. It's $9,000. Okay. It's $9,000. However,
are you talking the one with like for the candle scene? Or?
No, for the fight scene where you see him like holding it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm looking to buy it. I'll be able to afford it this summer. So I'm looking to get a 35 millimeter motion picture camera. I'm thinking either between that or like maybe an Arri cam. Yeah, because
do you have any last questions for the eternally patient and very charming Jared here?
Yeah. Okay, so I think that we should maybe spend another like couple minutes finishing up Rango, and then I do have some questions from my subscribers. So I wanted to say in Rango, there was a Clint Eastwood thing, The Man with No Name. There was a lot of shots that were very reminiscent of Fistful of Dollars, especially, I would say. When he comes into the town and the way that they do the standoff, it's very Sergio Leone. And for anyone who's watching this, yeah, we probably talked about Rango for all of like 5 minutes of this entire 2-hour podcast.
Sorry.
Hey, I'm not sorry.
That's what happens on this podcast. Don't worry.
I'm not sorry. Look, people are coming to listen to us talk, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Rango, yeah, go watch it. Okay, you know what? It's good.
Go see Rango. It's like, you don't want to spoil the whole movie. Like, just go see
come on. I'm not going to spoil it. Look, you like Westerns, right? You like comedy, like, and it's an animation movie that doesn't just like try to appeal always to children. It's
like very existential. It's like, not just about, it's funny. You're looking at it from an acting perspective. I was looking at it from like an existential, like identity, just like,
well, because you're an actor.
Sort of,
yeah, you're like.
And I just remember like being really kind of blown away by the opening scene and the way the way the exposition is doled out. The fact that like there's never once a line that's like, I am a chameleon in the back of a car in a little box. It's like, no, this is my world. These are my friends. And then all of a sudden there's a little bump and he goes out the window, and you get little quick shots of the car and little quick shots of the tank as it actually is.
Yeah,
and that's it. And like I thought that was like brilliant, Like,
it's
in any other kids movie, it would be like the opening shot would be the car, the wide shot of him inside the back seat or whatever, and then he gets in. But this movie, it starts with him, and like that was great.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
It's all about his own world, and and the fact that like one of the first interactions he has with any other character is with the armadillo who wants to get to the other side, and so like. It opens up in the first 5 minutes of like basically talking about death, and you're just like, holy shit. This is
it's surprisingly intense with that subject matter.
Yeah, because one of the main characters, the guy that Milton from Office Space voices, like he gets drowned, and it doesn't really shy away from killing off some of its characters.
No, and people get shot.
Yeah, people get shot.
Granted, not really fatally. I think. Well, there's the couple who shoot each other during the flying chase scene. I guess they go and blow up. So that's. But
that's like Star Wars in a sense. It's like it blows up, and you're just like, oh, it's an explosion. I can kind of imagine nobody was
They didn't die. They were destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Destroyed is way more child-friendly.
And then there's that the big joke of the whole, this maybe is a spoiler territory, but just like the big running gag that he's gonna die at the end, and then then they're like, oh well, yeah, he's probably gonna die in a household accident or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like, oh, isn't he gonna die? Isn't he gonna die? And they're like, well, 65% of like accidental deaths are in household accidents, and so maybe he'll die in one of those. I actually thought that was really funny, and to compare it to another movie, that's. Like the opposite of the movie Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, where he's constantly saying, don't worry, she doesn't die. Like, don't worry, this doesn't happen. And
I saw, I forgot about that element. Yeah. The where he's sort of, yeah. And he's like, don't worry, it doesn't happen. And then like it happens, and he's like, well, I was just like,
fine. Yeah.
Basically, it was like, he just didn't want it to happen. And it actually makes it a bit more intense emotionally.
Yeah.
But
it's his processing of his grief in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is like the opposite. We're like, he's gonna die, and so you're constantly thinking, okay, Rango's gonna die. Like at some point, this, he's not gonna be able to to keep up the acting persona. And that's all he really has to do in the movie is just constantly act the character. And that's like the really interesting thing about this movie is that as long as he's acting the character, he's safe.
Yeah.
Even if it's not him.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And
give me one
second. And also I think it works so well that it's a movie about identity.
Yeah.
And it's planned Westerns, and there's the whole Man with No Name. You know, and Westerns, so much, you know, such the perfect genre for that theme.
Exactly. Like this whole theme, this idea of what your identity is. Because you think about the Man with No Name, and you think about like
West in general, the idea of like moving westward as a country, as a people, and sort of the lawlessness,
and civilization. I mean, you think about a game like Red Dead Redemption, which is all about that. You know, it's all about this kind of like here's the gunslinger and here's civilization, and these are two competing ways of life. You're the guy that's going around with your gun and sort of living, honestly,
but also,
living a pretty good life. I'm like, I don't know. The movies make it seem like it's decent. Oh, wait, Jared also just froze right now. So I'll just continue talking until he comes back. Oki's not here either. So you're going to get another Kino Corner video right now. So I will talk about Westerns. The Man with No Name, we identify ourselves with our names. There's this idea that you live up to what your name is. When you have no name, there is no sort of bar, to reach. That doesn't really happen. Yeah. So the Man with No Name doesn't have this set identity put upon him by society. Instead, he is essentially his own man. Hey, Oki, Jared just froze out for a second.
Yeah, no, he's back.
That's all right.
That's all right.
I was just.
That's my superhero villain.
That you could just disappear.
Mr. Freeze.
Beautiful.
Oh, you can disappear. So I watched this.
He freezes.
I just watched this superhero movie, Jared, I think you'd be really interested in, called Thunder Force.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, that's the one with the kid. No, it's Underpants, right?
No, so Thunder Force.
No, he's talking about the Melissa McCarthy movie. the new one with her and what's her name, Olivia or
Octavia Spencer. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. It's bad. But did he just freeze out again?
No, he's back. He's
back.
I very, very briefly met Melissa McCarthy. She's a very nice person. Very nice person.
I imagine
she still needs to be political. He can't just like make fun of movies.
Like I imagine that she's nice. Like here's the thing. Like just because somebody is in bad movies doesn't make them a bad person.
No, that's like the thing that you really do learn. And I feel like and then you kind of get to take a step back and you look at sort of what happens on the other end of it, and you see people ragging on people for being in movies, and I just feel bad, just because it's like you don't have the biggest control over the parts that come your way.
No, you don't, and that's really why also,
you want to make the most of what you have. You want to make even if it's not unheard of like things turning around during production or the script isn't always the biggest indicator. Sometimes it can be, it is significant, but it's not the end, the complete end all be all in my opinion.
No, and even a good script can turn into a bad movie, and a bad script can turn into a good movie. And you, as an actor, you really don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't hold anything against
things happen. Act to like perform. As much as the performance is on the actor, it also very much is on the editor.
Yeah, and editor big time.
Yeah, and on my end, just working on my intermediate, like, not to say that any of the actors, I thought they all were great. They did exactly what I needed of them. It was just that pacing wise, the scenes were really slow if you were just cutting it to the way that the natural rhythm of how it flowed. But then my editor and I decided to just sort of really cut them short. Really like kind of cut faster in the editing, and just that alone helped the energy of the scene. And it seems amazing how influential editing is and how a scene turns out.
Yeah, and that's why there's that saying too. It's like a film gets written 3 times, right? It gets written when you write the script. It gets written when you shoot the film, and it gets written the last time when you edit it. Because editing a film is basically like rewriting the script. I know that, I hate to keep going back to it, but with my movie, the original runtime for it was over 100 minutes long. And the final runtime for it is 84 minutes. I cut out quite a lot, just to help the pacing and to try to really focus it and everything like that. Because on the script, it seems good. And then when you have the actors, delivering the lines and doing all that kind of stuff, and you're watching it as a whole, you're just like, you know what? There's some stuff in here that maybe on paper seems good. In reality, just doesn't seem that good. But yeah, I would say that from all of us would say, go watch Rango. It's fun. It's definitely for adults. And now I want to go into questions from, so I put on YouTube, right? Questions from my audience as far as what they wanted to ask you. I'm going to go to my community tab right now, because I know that there's a few questions there. There's okay, so I think we already answered this one. Basically, what was it like working with these big actors?
Yeah, we kind of covered that base. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It felt like I was living out a dream. I know that's a cliche phrase, but that's kind of like, I probably did have dreams of working, meeting people, like famous people, and so it's like. Then having the actual opportunity to then, work alongside these people and say that you just did a movie with them.
I'd say that's the biggest thing, and just in my experience of meeting famous people, I think people put way too much emphasis on other people being famous.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's just, people are just people, Yeah,
ultimately. Exactly.
I walked away with that sense for sure.
It definitely humbles you because, you think about it, any one of us on this podcast today could end up being famous, but is that going to make us a different person?
Arguably, one of us is actually famous. At least,
Well, I mean, the one guy whose videos get hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah, Oki's the one. Moonrise Kingdom. What the fuck? I'm not famous at all.
Videos get like 1 million. No. At least one of them has 1 million, right? I feel like
he has a few.
They're not watching. They're not watching. They're watching. It's like weird stories, right? It's not like me and my videos, right? But no, I feel like that. Just saying you're in Moonrise Kingdom, you're the kid from Moonrise Kingdom. I feel like that's a huge deal.
Well, I mean, I would say
for you to say.
I agree.
So thank you.
But I mean, but that's the thing. It's at a certain point you realize it's just people are people, and no matter how famous they are, they're going through the same shit that every normal person goes through, and they really want to be treated like just another normal person.
Yeah, you realize that, and then you look at the history of tabloid media,
exactly,
the very invasive side of celebrity, and you just feel awful.
One of my, yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say. Oh wait, I'll go. Yeah, so one of my previous jobs was essentially protecting Liam Hemsworth from 12-year-old girls.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I think he was supposed to sit in front of me at the MTV Movie Awards. I don't think he did though. I don't think I ever saw him. I just remember one of the photos of just the names on him.
Yeah, one of the nicest guys. Honestly, just one of the most chill guys. He honestly felt bad that he had to turn these girls away, but it was just my job to to make sure that they wouldn't intervene with filming or anything like that. And that's when I think that's when I really learned is it can be kind of a lonely life for some of these really famous people because people see them for their fame and not for who they are.
And then also not just their fame, but their fuck ups.
Yeah, exactly.
And not to say that there's a line for sure. There's a line for sure. There are people who do things that are genuinely despicable, say things that are genuinely awful, and I think that
you met one of them.
Yeah.
You met Harvey Weinstein.
I met Harvey Weinstein for like 2 seconds at Fan.
What do you say? Hey, kid, nice ass.
No, he was just like, I think he said like, I love the movie or something like that.
Okay.
It was like, I walked away like, I met Harvey Weinstein, Not like, I met Harvey Weinstein, it was like, I had to be told by someone else to stay away, to be like that. I was saying, there was someone else there. I guess I won't name names, but there was someone else there who I mentioned that I met Harvey Weinstein. Her immediate reaction was, yeah, you want to stay away from him.
So it really, really was an open secret.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this is
it was. I've heard from other people in the industry.
I didn't hear any specific details. All I heard was he's a monster, stay away from him.
Wow.
Yeah. I've heard from other people in the industry that knew Harvey. They were like, yeah, we knew he was a rapist back in the 90s.
And then it
makes you I don't know, it makes you think about all these people that like were basically shilling for him up on stage. I don't know, I think it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's like it's a little I want to know if there's more happening that we don't know. Money, and not to say that I defend it, but just more happening that just we're not aware of. I don't know.
There's definitely more happening.
It's definitely it's uncomfortable to watch for sure.
Let's move on. Let's not talk about Harvey Weinstein. You know what? He's like rotting away in Rikers Island right now, right?
Yeah.
Very Safdie brothers, by the way, rotting away in Rikers Island.
That would be a good Safdie's brother movie.
I mean,
so I guess
a prison.
Maybe what I should.
Movie and
I feel like we sorry to interrupt. Maybe we have created a minor elephant in the room just by mentioning Harvey Weinstein and big, famous, abusive producers. Moonrise Kingdom and Scott Rudin.
Oh, Scott Rudin.
I never met him. He never showed up on set, to my knowledge. I have no clue what the working relationship between him and Wes is like.
Yeah.
I really have no idea. Really have no idea.
So Wes seems like a really nice guy to me, and he seems like a really genuine guy. And just how it works in the industry is that people like us who were really in it for the art of it, like we have to team up with people who
aren't the greatest, but who have the money, who have means by which we can do what we need to do. And so I think it's one of those relationships, is my guess.
And I was telling people, right, when Harvey Weinstein, okay, so I'm not gloating, but I was just like, you know what? This is what I was telling my friends. You know what? I bet the next big producer to go is Scott Rudin. I was like, for some reason, I don't know, I had this premonition.
And I had heard a little bit too from elsewhere, totally unrelated, but somehow, or like maybe someone I knew in college who had a connection. But I just remember hearing that he also was bad, but not in the same way as Harvey Weinstein. But he was a bully.
And that's
he was abusive emotionally. Yeah, not necessarily. And though I guess they were
on the same level, like, because Harvey Weinstein was like actually raping people, but from what I understand, Scott Rudin was more like sexually harassing and bullying and stuff,
but also physically abusing.
Oh, physically! I didn't hear about that.
Well, that's what part of the big stories that came out was that he was sending people to the hospital, like banging shit on their hands and like
a mafioso.
Yeah.
Why would you even do that? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a pacifist. I mean, I don't know. I kind of am. I'm like,
well, but it's just, if I had to throw out a guess, it's a insecurity, lots and lots of money, lots and lots of people riding on you.
And you can get away with it.
Not a stable mindset, and a lot of power.
And definitely.
and also probably lots of, you know, euphoria and maybe a certain level of like addiction to success, high levels of success.
Yeah.
I
don't think
it's
Oki...
it's a deadly combination of a lot of those things, I think.
I don't think Oki or I have either of that, because we definitely spend way too much time on things that like don't really give us that much money.
Yeah, I'm not really.
So I have a couple more questions. Just a few more questions. So V asks for my channel, they ask, did Jared have knowledge while shooting about the meaning of the ear piercing scene? I'm taking that's a no. I guess it's like
He remembers the ear piercing scene.
I mean, I guess it's like a symbol for having sex.
Right. I mean, like I saw it as like a symbol for taking a new step in their relationship. Maybe I didn't see it as like I didn't make the sex connotation there. Obviously, when they're dancing on the beach, I got that. I understood all that dialogue.
Oh, okay.
Seeing the ear piercing is that. I mean, that makes sense for sure. Obviously, you know that I get that. When I was thinking, I didn't think the word sex. But
yeah, I mean, like 12-year-olds.
I knew it was like an important. I knew it was like,
you know,
he's piercing her ear. He's taking, but you know, it's a level of closeness that they're allowing each other to have.
And I think it could also be that. I mean, Wes is a pretty wholesome guy. From what
I will say is that also in the original script, when Bill Murray lifts up the tent, initially the two of them are making out like furiously. We never shot it that way. It was always the way that it looked in the movie when we shot it. Because Wes realized that he wanted to kind of keep he kind of wanted to ease us into the closer stuff. So the beach scene was the last scene that Karen and I shot together for principal photography.
No, I mean, Wes seems like a
he's very careful and cognizant of everyone. And so, you know, he made sure we were okay and all that.
And that honestly just gives me a lot more respect for him. You know, just the fact that he was like, okay, maybe in the script it's a little too, because I know that he
too violent or whatever. Again,
exactly.
When Sam and Susie walk off to discuss marriage, that scene, initially you hear what they say, and Sam says something that pisses Susie off, and she starts beating him up.
You know,
and so it's like I think initially it was more of like a shot where like we're cutting between the wide of the two of them talking, and then Jason and the rest of the scouts like watching them trying to figure out what's going on. And so it's like you cut back and you see like Susie's like got Sam like a chokehold or something. Because he said something kind of dumb and offended her.
I mean, that's funny though.
But then when it came to and I think we even rehearsed a bit of that. We tried that once during rehearsals, but we just couldn't get the choreography to work, or we just like couldn't really. I don't know. I guess Wes decided that it's funnier. You know, it's better if it's more sort of straightforward with their relationship and more. You know, they're more on each other's side at that point. And then having that visual of the kid jumping on the trampoline, I think.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, that's after Jason is like, okay, you need to like take a few minutes, like make up your mind. Spit the gum out of your mouth. Yeah. I've seen the movie way too many times. I honestly, like, for me, that's in my top 3 Wes Anderson movies. I would say my top 3 Wes Anderson films are Moonrise Kingdom, Rushmore, and The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah,
that's my favorite Wes Anderson.
I feel like my I mean, I'm not going to say Moonrise is in my top 3, but like Rushmore and GBH for sure. I are pretty standout. Yeah. I mean, there are a few that I want to rewatch that just it's been years and years.
There's like gold nuggets, I think, in every single one of his films, and I think a lot of people really misunderstand Wes right now because there's always this like, oh, look at the symmetrical shots and look at how all of his movies are shot the same. But if you really look at his
there's an evolution there for sure.
Yeah. Like if you look at Life Aquatic, it's shot documentary style, like almost all handheld.
Action scenes are all handheld.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
Moonrise is also a lot of handheld stuff in that movie too.
Yeah, exactly. He was using the Auton.
It's grainier than his normal films. It looks a little different.
And he was using the Auton A minima, or his, Bob Yeoman was, where he was holding it lower on his body. So they're holding it kind of almost like mid-torso, which would be eye level for you when you were 12 years old. But there's like big differences. And then Isle of Dogs was very much like
lots of circular movements and more angular, I feel like.
Yeah, it was definitely more like inspired by the works of Akira Kurosawa. The way that he framed things too was very Kurosawa influenced, or Ozu influenced, I would say, in some parts of it. And I think that people really kind of reduce Wes Anderson to like the symmetrical director, when in reality there's a lot more.
And I'm really excited for French Dispatch. Just the trailer alone looks like
me too. I know we talked about
it's another jump for
I know
that trailer came out so long ago too.
It was supposed to come out a year ago. Like that's the thing.
Man, I completely forgot about that.
It was supposed to come out a year ago. I was so looking forward to the. I know that Jared and
I still am looking forward to it.
I still am too.
I told Wes. I sent him a birthday email yesterday, and I was like, I'm really excited for the French Dispatch.
He's already working on his next movie. I mean, that's like the crazy thing about COVID, right? Because I remember talking to you, Jared, like over a year ago about the French Dispatch trailer. And we're like, oh yeah, we're so psyched for it. We're going to go watch it. And then this whole shit happened. And then it got suspended like indefinitely. And Disney was like,
now it's going to come out. It's going to premiere at Cannes. That it has been, the lineup hasn't been confirmed, but it has been confirmed that it will be premiering.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good at least. So it's going to be premiering this month, basically.
Yeah, this month. Yep.
This month, yeah.
So yeah, there's that. So hopefully that means maybe at the end of the year or next year maybe.
I mean, hopefully this year. Like, I don't know. I've been really I'm
looking forward to it too. I mean, there's so much shit that I'm looking forward to that's coming out in the future. Not even just that.
Same here.
Fucking PTA, David Cronenberg now. David Lynch is gonna be working on something. Fucking
Robert Eggers, The Northman.
Yep. Yeah. The Matrix 4.
Oh yeah, the Matrix 4. That's right. Yeah.
4.
We'll see how that is. Hopefully it's better than Reloaded.
I mean, okay, I'll be honest. I get that like the writing gets very sappy and like very, very like philosophical and heady and just weird in the sequels. But like visually, there's still sequences that are really cool. I think. I still think the final battle in the third movie is really cool looking, especially for a 2003 movie. The level of VFX detail in the punches is really good. So it's like I have a feeling whatever happens, I'm gonna be visually interested.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my hope. But just the fact, I don't know. I just think that, and who knows, maybe it'll come out. I don't know. The pessimistic side of me is like it'll come out and it'll be just a standard studio movie.
So let me get back to this the second to last question here, which is
we're gonna wrap up soon.
Sorry to interrupt. I cut up your vegetables.
Okay.
They're all ready. Did you want the chicken from last night? You want hot dogs?
I think I'll just have the vegetables and
cut this.
Okay. Sorry, my mom just was
oh yeah, no worries, man.
Dude, you gotta
going to dinner. Right?
No, we're gonna wrap this up in like 5 minutes.
You gotta leave that in, by the way, Kino. That was adorable. Your mom sounds very nice.
Hey, tell your mom that I said hi.
You sure it's okay? Yeah, I'll eat right now. It's fine. I mean, my mom kind of already made me my day, so like, if it's okay, I'm gonna just eat.
Oh yeah, no worries.
We're wrapping up anyway, so probably not even. I'm not gonna but if that's okay.
We're gonna wrap up really soon.
It's just like vegetables and shit. I'm kind of going light on food right now because I'm kind of trying to figure out. I've kind of got a weird digestive system.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh yeah.
And
so do I. Don't worry about it.
So I'm like I'm in the sort of period where I'm kind of trying to take it slow with food. And just trying.
No worries, man.
Myself.
Look, we're gonna be like the most chill people you'll ever meet on YouTube. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, guys.
No, tell your mom I said hi.
No, you're lovely. Thank you.
Hey there. Hey, I think your son. Oh wait, Jared, tell her. She can't hear you.
Wait, hold on.
Hold on. Yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey there. Hello. Hey.
Interrupt. You should hang out.
No. I think your son is a great actor, and he has.
Thank you. I think so too. I think he should be working. He needs to be working.
He does. He's good.
And his audition tapes get better and better, and now he's doing them on his own without an acting coach.
That's good.
But completely by myself,
That's actually really good. I have a lot of acting friends.
But his manager said the last ones are the best he's ever done.
I believe it. I mean, everyone gets better with age, and better with experience. And
he's also incredibly intense, which is, I don't see that normally, but yeah.
No, I believe it.
Got a quiet intensity.
I guess. yeah.
I
get. Well, I just want to make sure I'm doing it okay.
No, that's not what I mean. You're acting intense characters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, the last couple have been pretty light, actually.
They were more comedies.
Those were.
But I've seen him do very intense work, and it's intense characters.
I'm looking forward to the movie where he's the son of Bobby Cannavale. Is that how you say his name?
That's not really an intense character.
That's also another. I've also seen Paterson and Moonrise Kingdom many times. Two of my favorite movies.
Well, Paterson Thursday is definitely my favorite day.
You do it every Thursday?
Thursday.
Because that's
great.
No, I think
the day of the week in the movie.
Look.
Yes.
Look, we were telling your son. We're telling your son that he should do some YouTube stuff, and I'm going to be moving. So I'm from Florida, right?
Oh, whereabouts?
Pensacola.
Okay, up in the Panhandle.
Up in the Panhandle, yeah. But
we're Miamians. That's our home away from home.
Oh, okay. That makes sense because you're from. That's because you're from Jersey. In Florida we call Miami South Jersey.
I am not from Jersey. I'm from Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
But we live in Jersey.
He's a Jersey boy.
Ostensibly, sure. Yeah.
Our other family's in Miami.
Okay. No, but in Florida we call Miami South Jersey.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I'll be up. I'm going to be moving up to DC. So if he wants to do short films or anything, just tell Jared. I know that moms are better at telling their kids to do stuff, because I know my own mom is like, come on, you got to do this. You got to do this. I'm like, no. And then I eventually do what my mom says and it works out. Right.
Yeah. But no, I think he should be on YouTube too. He needs some revenue stream.
He does.
Cameo is a thing.
He does.
Yeah, we were saying YouTube.
Look, we're trying to give him some
Oh, is Cameo the one where you record your voice and you
It's a video. You record videos saying happy birthday or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Jared already knows. Look, if he knows me, as Oki can attest, I know everybody on YouTube. If he knows me, he can make it on YouTube. I'll make sure that he gets on podcasts with everybody or does whatever, and he can do it. With the pandemic, it's a little harder to do the actual film stuff, which is what I'm used to.
I guess the thing too with me is that I need to figure out what I would do. Would it be video essay? Would it be more vlog? Would it just be me talking in front of a camera and cutting it together and just going on from there?
The important thing to do.
What I think it would be, but I also the thing with me is I have trouble watching myself. In general.
Oh no, we all do. Everybody.
Yeah, we all
Everybody
do. We all do.
Oh gosh.
How do you get over that hump? I can barely listen. I'm not going to listen to this podcast when it drops because I don't listen to myself.
But we listen to it. His father and I listen to it.
So and this is. Yeah. Oh, sorry, you finished.
No, I
sorry
was going to
that.
say his father is very tech oriented anyways.
Yeah.
He does apps.
So what I'll say is this is what I do for YouTube, right? So like this is like my normal speaking voice. I'm originally from Northern California, so I have kind of a California accent, and but when I do my YouTube voice,
your YouTube voice is a bit. You do like a bit of a voice,
yeah. I do this voice where it's like it's a little bit different than my normal voice, and so when I'm editing it, it feels like I'm listening to someone who's not me, and it makes it a lot easier. Where
I guess for me, because I've already started tweeting, I've already like I don't know.
Oh, I mean, but you could do like a little voice that's a little bit different from your normal voice, and then when you're listening to it when you're editing, you can imagine that it's somebody else, and you won't be as bothered by it.
It's like you're playing a character, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're playing a character. It's acting.
Yeah, I guess it's like, granted, it's one of those things. Maybe I just have to do it and see how it goes. But and the predictive like feelings that I have thinking about it is that like I just think that like I'd get like self-critical to the point where it might stop being
Don't worry about it too much. All right, Mrs.
All right,
Gilman.
I'm gonna go.
Mrs. Gilman.
Thank you.
Mrs. Gilman.
Brenda's on the phone waiting for me. My sister's his aunt's on the phone.
Yeah.
All right. It was nice to meet you, Mrs. Gilman.
Yes,
that was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Get him working, please.
I will. I'll try. I'll do my best.
Yeah, that was awesome. A great moment.
That was actually Kino.
That was Kino. That was wholesome Kino.
Yeah, wholesome Kino.
That was great. Yeah.
So Jared, just second to last question here. Sergio asks.
Penultimate question, which is my mom's favorite word.
Penultimate, yes.
Oh, that's a good word.
Sergio asks, should I start a religion around Moonrise Kingdom in a scale from yes to doing it already?
Question now. Is he doing it already? Because then it's like, I can't give advice there. Other than stop, please.
I think that's a funny question.
Yeah, no, I mean, only time I've heard a movie have a religion is Big Lebowski, so that's a pretty high honor.
So another, this is like a throwaway question, honestly. Someone says, they were obviously joking with this. They've seen Moonrise Kingdom. They said, I haven't seen Moonrise Kingdom yet. Is it a good film? Please ask him this question. Yeah, it's a good movie. Go watch it. Come on. And so then the last question is, how does it feel to look back into an acting experience of your younger self now as an adult? Are there differences in the type of direction you get as a child actor? And if so, what are they? What type of films or stories would you like to act in or create / develop in the future? That's a big question.
Yeah, no, that's a good final question. Well, I guess what I can say are the differences between how I was directed as a child versus how I was directed as an adult, I guess, is that, well, I need to do more projects as an adult.
The
last real, movie that I worked on was in 2019, and I was 20. So, I mean, yeah, I was like an adult. And I mean, like, it's not like there's a difference, I think. I don't think there is.
Mm-hmm.
I think it, I mean, it's more like when you're younger and then you get older, but even then it's, I didn't feel, like, how like when you're a kid and adults are talking to you and you have that feeling like they're talking with a tone that they aren't talking to their other friends with or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't, you don't, at least I didn't, then again, 12, I wasn't like 8, I wasn't 7, I wasn't 6.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it would be like to be treated that way, but as a 12-year-old, I felt like I was just like one of the cast members, with the exception of the fact that I was doing school at the same time on set. And so it, as for the types of stuff I want to do, I mean, I think I want to, not that we're in a period of time where it's a viable thing right now, but like I'm more of a film than a theater person.
Yeah.
I know a lot of actors say you should do both, and I worked.
I was going to say, I also
stage actors in 2019 who were like saying, you got to do it. And I'm just like,
but I also know some actors that say like, oh, if you do stage, it's a completely different kind of acting than doing film, and it can mess you up.
It's a lot more of an endurance test.
Yeah.
Than film.
And it's also like, so, but also philosophically, it's different, because film, you're acting for the camera, and the camera could be like
anywhere.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
It could be like right at your face. So you're acting
Whereas on the stage, you're acting for the whole audience. No matter
you're acting for the
in the front row, in the back row, and then also you're acting for longer stretches of time.
Yeah,
much longer time than a film, unless it's a special kind of movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like on film, you're acting
anywhere from 1 to maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, at the longest is 10 minutes.
Whereas the stage, it's maybe a level depending on how frequent your character shows up on stage, but it's still like 2 hours a day, or 4 if you're doing more than one show.
It's a whole different
approach. But for at once, in these chunks, as opposed to like a minute and then a minute and then 3 minutes and then a minute and then 3 minutes, and that rhythm is different. Granted, theater, there's lots more rehearsing that happens, and and so I know the feeling of having the scenes in the back of your mind by day one. I know what that feels like, and so I get. And so I get that, like, maybe if I put myself through that, maybe, I could get it drilled in my head and it could be okay. But I do realize that it's a lot more taxing energy-wise.
Yeah, and it's just a different sort of philosophy to how you act. I mean, as we were talking about earlier, when you're acting for the camera, you're acting for something that might be right there. So it's more about just internalizing everything. And it's like, if you internalize the emotions enough, it'll show up on your face. And even if it's subtle, the camera's so close that it'll pick up on it. However, when you're on theater, you're acting for the back of the room, because you want to make sure that the people in the back of the room understand your emotion just as much as people in the front of the room. So it's more of a physical sort of thing.
You can definitely make film performances physical. They're, film performances are physical performances as well.
I mean, like you have Charlie Chaplin, or Jacques Tati.
But even just even like I don't know, Uncut Gems, Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah,
that's a physical performance.
Yeah,
in the way that he moves around and like talks and communicates.
I mean, anyone who watches the Kino Corner is very aware of Uncut Gems. It's basically my video on Uncut Gems is what made my channel. So, no, but it's a very physical performance. Just the way that he carries himself and everything like that. I mean, saying that's in Safdie Brothers, their protagonists that do have very physical performances. Rod Pattinson too, in Good Time. But what I'm saying is that in film, it's a lot more like internalizing it and playing for something that's a lot closer to you than in theater. I think that Jared just cut out again. So I'm going to start wrapping things up here.
Yeah, let's
wrap things up.
My, by the way, edition just like completely crashed. So like 20 minutes ago. So
really? Yeah, this is a really long one.
Yeah, I just realized just 2 minutes ago.
It's fine. I think what I'm just going to use for this is just the Zoom.
Okay. Well, I have most of it recorded.
So. Yeah, it's. I'll just. Don't worry. Like, we have backups and everything like that. That's why I did this. I knew that this would probably be a longer one, anyways. So, so until Jared gets back, So, wait. I'm just gonna wait till he gets back.
No, he's back. Yeah.
Okay, Jared. We're gonna do a wrap up right now. I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
Wrap up right now. All right. So that was Jared on the KinoKast. We got to talk about Rango for maybe 10 minutes out of the last 3 hours.
Length of a really long shot in a film set.
Yeah, and exactly. But I mean that's but that's the good thing about talking about movies, right? It gets you to talking about other things, because movies should make you think about life, right? When you think about it, like movies shouldn't just be what they are. It should make you think about things that happen in your own life and things like that. And I think that's that why.
Sorry for interrupting.
I was going to say Rango is about the life of an actor, an actor making his way in the world. And, of course we got to talk to Jared about that as well. And I think that was very interesting, and it's a good way to sort of, mesh the two together. And I hope that everyone who listened in got to understand him. And hey, maybe somebody who's listening is somebody in Hollywood and you can hire him.
Hey, hello.
Yeah.
I did do a meme one time that got like a few thousand likes that was acknowledging this fact.
Yeah, so maybe somebody can hire him. Look, I'm sure that somebody who watches me has money, so you know what to do. So let's just have some closing statements, and we'll start with Jared.
I was going to say, when I was interrupting you, and I apologize for that, but I guess it's the point that you made me kind of think of when you were talking. Just films are a springboard conversationally. They definitely can be, and it's kind of I enjoy talking about it like that for sure. And I think too that like when people get very mean about film opinions or about other people and their film opinions, that always sucks.
Yeah. Oki and I have very different opinions on a lot of movies, but we're still friends.
And like that isn't to say don't get passionate, because I get passionate a lot when I debate movies, but it's like, I don't know, going on Twitter sometimes, it's like, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth shitting on someone just because they like something, Unless they like Marvel. And, put on them.
Jared can't say anything.
There's a level of like, if someone has like someone has like a weird justification for something, then that's maybe, I can understand if that causes a reaction, but like just a blanket statement, I like this, or I like that. That doesn't need scrutiny or
it doesn't. Yeah, definitely. You're right.
Here's a good definitely sort of another sort of, I guess maybe it's a platitude or maybe it's just a fact, is that every movie is someone's favorite movie. Like no matter what the movie is, somebody it's gonna it's gonna really speak to somebody. And I never really try to discourage anyone or try to make them feel bad for liking a certain movie. I know that there's plenty of movies that I like that other people might think aren't good movies, but they spoke to me in certain ways. So, there's no reason to be negative about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyways, Oki, what's your final thoughts, statements, concerns?
Go watch Oki's Weird Stories.
When's part 2 coming?
I don't know. I don't know when it's coming out. Don't ask me. I won't say. Maybe a month. I don't know.
Yeah.
So buy my merch. Sub to me on Patreon, Twitter, Instagram. Hopefully, Kino. Put all this shit in the description.
Oh yeah, I will. Yeah.
Go watch Moonrise Kingdom if you haven't.
Yeah, come on. What are you doing if you haven't seen it?
you got Paterson. This. Not a lot of people saw Paterson.
Yeah, go watch Paterson. That's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, come on. Pretty available.
It's on Amazon Prime. Go watch Paterson.
It's got Kylo Ren in it.
There you go.
The Star Wars guy that people like.
Yeah, and Kara Hayward. Come on, Kara.
Yeah, and she's in it too. In the scene. Yep.
Come on.
Who is weirder, by the way? Jim Jarmusch or Wes Anderson?
I don't think that they were. I wouldn't say either of them were like weird. They were both awesome people, though. They were both really, really nice, really down to earth. Like
I met
both of their brothers. Oddly enough, both their brothers showed up on set at one point or another. But with Wes, Eric, his brother Eric, had a cameo in the movie, and also in some
Eric
of the book
did,
art, I think.
Yeah, he did. Eric does a lot of the art for Wes's movies.
And then Jim's brother, I think he just showed up. I forget if he had a role. I don't think he had any specific on-set role or job, but he showed up and I met him.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though. I could be wrong about that. But again,
yeah. Here's what I can say though is that
I honestly, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish I got to work with Jim more.
Like Kara Hayward, Jared Gilman, you got the dynamic duo in both of these movies. I don't know what Kara's doing now, but she is fun to watch on. She's fun to watch on screen.
I miss her.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Kara, if you're listening to this.
Since we shot that scene in Paterson.
Dang.
I think that was the last time I saw her.
Okay, so Kara, if you're listening to this, if you've made it this far in,
come to Kino.
I don't want to be weird. I don't want to. Oh god.
Come to Kino.
It's Kino. It's Kino corner.
Oh yeah, Kara, go on the podcast. But also, you know, I'm just socially awkward. So if I don't talk to someone for at least like a year, I just feel really weird.
Like you're talking to the person who's like, I'm like the king of socially awkward, right? Have you seen my Twitter?
His Twitter is just insane, right?
I mean, it's a character. It's not really me.
It's just him just like sexually harassing people.
But most of the people I know, and I've like talked to them behind the scenes about it. I'm like, okay, like this is a character.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, so I'll just leave it at that. Thank you so much, Jared, for coming on. I'm going to leave links in the description for people who can legally watch the movies that Jared has been in.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I'm also going to leave in links, obviously, to our social medias and everything like that, and to Jared's Twitter. And I hope that everyone who's listened to this far in has had a really good time. And
it's been a blast. This has been a blast.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been super fun. Yeah.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, and you know, maybe you
I'll also just like admit, you know, this is also really just good too because like my cat died yesterday, so it's like
yeah, I know that.
You know, so this is helpful. So thanks for that.
It's good just to like yeah, I know how it is, man. Like, we were talking about this yesterday. Sometimes it's good just to like, I don't know, talk to some people.
Talk to people about random shit. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Like that's what I'd much rather do than like schoolwork.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that I'm bringing you away from schoolwork, but you know, you're talking to two college dropouts right here.
Yeah.
For tomorrow, it's okay.
Drop out, go do Cameo. That's my. Go do conventions, even though you hate it. People gotta work. No one likes working.
Dude, what is the Cameo thing? That honestly, there's like a 20% chance. You know, like,
do it. I'm telling you, dude, that's so easy. Just fucking do it. You do that.
I mean, yeah, because it's 2 hours at it. Like, it looks so simple. There's got to be some is there a process to it that I'm not aware of?
You spend 2 hours a day. You just you respond to things. You can.
It's like making Snapchats.
It's so easy, dude. You just
it's like
says.
Yeah, it's like literally doing Snapchats for people, but they pay like $100.
I guess I just need to figure out the right price.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, because some people
go with whatever Gilbert Gottfried goes with. You know, just go with.
I don't think I'm on that level though. I think Gilbert.
No, you're definitely on that level.
You're on the same level as the parrot from Aladdin, dude. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
That's what Gilbert Gottfried's got. The parrot from Aladdin.
No, he was also in Problem Child.
No one saw that guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was in an AVGN episode. Come on. Maybe he was in an AVGN episode, but Jared Gilman was on the KinoKast. See? So
there you go, dude. There you go.
Yeah, and if we think we're better than everybody, then that makes
manifests.
It manifests.
It's the secret.
I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, no, thank you so much, Jared, for coming on. Maybe we can have you on another time to maybe talk about that Gavin McInnes movie or the John Travolta.
Yeah, I maybe like some I don't know, bad, quote unquote bad, or I don't know, something like where I can talk about and kind of, you know, whatever without feeling, you know.
It'll just be like today where it's like we start talking about it, we just go off topic, and it's just something else. But no, thank you so much, and if anyone's still listening, go check out our social media, and we will see you all in the next video.